Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks so much for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com, where you can go to listen live via the streaming free always. Hope you're well on this Balls McWednesday. On Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show. WTSM app for your mobile devices. That's a good thing. You can always email the show if you like. It's jcs979espnradio.com. And on YouTube, hello, YouTubers. ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. Woo! Little Game 7 action tonight, Tom. Yeah, I like being distracted from the nightmare that is Florida State playing football these days. So when you get a Game 7 and the series has been the way this one has been, my goodness gracious, you got to celebrate. Georgia, your number one team in the land, according to the College Football Playoff Committee. By the way, I would note that Nick Saban probably did a backflip in celebration of not only his birthday, but the fact that Alabama now can feel slighted and he can say, see, walking around here thinking you're number one. Look what they think of you. And then in addition to all of that, the NFL trade deadline did something, like a lot of things. I think Kelvin Benjamin got that call and went, what? I'm going to Buffalo? Sweet Jesus. Buffalo, guys?
That's really curious. Somebody wasn't getting along with somebody. That really doesn't make sense any other way.
Well, if you believe Lombardi and some of the other guys that have broken down that trade, they'll tell you that that this serves two purposes. One, that Kelvin and Carolina weren't getting along in terms of, A, he's been injury prone, and that's frustrated them as an organization. They don't feel like they can rely on him. And then B, he's not always in shape, which was an issue here.
You can kind of see that,
You can see that this year, too. But the man has, 15 touchdowns in the games that he is obviously a red zone threat all the time, and he was just recently against
It's 15 or 16, but he has the most paired with Cam Newton since
Despite missing a season
since he set foot in the league. Yeah.
No, he's productive. He had a really good first year, let's put it that way. I'll be honest with you, I root for that guy, of course, because he's a Knoll, and he was actually always nice to us when we got a chance to talk to him. I understand the trade. I'll just put it that way. I understand the trade. And I understand it for both sides. Buffalo finally's got a guy, a red zone threat, a real big receiver to complement what they have. They didn't have that big play guy in Buffalo, and they do now.
Well, they're 5-2. They're trying to capture the hearts and minds. They're already doing that with the results on the field, but that's a good home field advantage they have. It's only getting colder, so that home field advantage is only going to get better. And, what's something that you can definitely say about the NFL as you approach December and January? The approach gets simpler. The weather gets worse in a place like Buffalo, so you got to be able to run the football, play good defense, and then matchups are king. Well, they're putting themselves in position for all three of those things.
Yeah, the answer was 16. You were right, and he was traded to the Bills. Greg Olsen has 14 in that time. Of course, he's on the IR currently, and Ted Ginn Jr., who's now with the Saints and having a good year with Drew Brees, had 14 connections over his time in Carolina with Cam. He wasn't the only big name. First of all, let's just say this. There were 3 trades made Tuesday, 7 deals within a week of the deadline this year for the NFL. That matches the activity near the deadline combined over the last 3 seasons. NFL trades aren't a thing. Typically, they just don't happen. You know how you build up to the Major League Baseball trade deadline and you get excited and you go, all right, well, there might be this pitcher going here and this, There's a lot usually going on at the MLB trade deadline, and so it's kind of a talking point, whereas the NFL trade deadline often comes and goes without people even recognizing that it happened. If you're not locked in and you don't do this for a living, you might not even know that the trade deadline happened in the NFL. There's so little activity. And then all of a sudden yesterday you're going, what? Ajayi is going to Philadelphia? What the hell is going on? Kelvin Benjamin is going to Buff? What is going? Yeah, so you had significant deals get done yesterday. It was exciting to see.
A.J. McCarron's a Brown now. That's incredible.
Didn't happen. And even if it had, would anybody care? Would Cleveland have gone, all right, way to go, guys. We got a little A.J. McCarron action.
That's got to be right up there with the Vikings missing a first-round draft pick. I don't know
for not getting their pick up to the podium in time.
I don't think it's more egregious because you've attended the draft.
That was really funny.
You're in
happened.
the room.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is walk.
Remember we were sitting there with Viking Ken going, dude, what? You missed your pick. Like, I can't believe that. Just you missed your pick.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about. I mean, you're in the room. Like, you've flown representatives to
Imagine
the
if
draft room.
you flew up there as a fan to go to the draft and your team missed the deadline to get the pick in. Like, what? This is a thing? We missed the pick? This isn't like missing a flight. We missed the pick.
I don't think it's as bad if you're the Browns, but it's pretty close.
It was all due to a missed email. Cincinnati missed an email.
Went to my spam folder.
I didn't see it. Well, we have these things called phones.
Yeah.
We perhaps should have called one another.
Yeah, the Bengals finalized the deal.
Yeah. Guys, somebody get a hold of them over there, please. So the Panthers traded Kelvin Benjamin to the Bills for a 2018 third and seventh round pick. The Bills wide receivers ranked dead ass last in football. They're not very good. Their quarterback's average too, so that doesn't help. But there you go. Now you got a guy. Okay, so, that's a nice distraction as well. But World Series Game 7 is the better thing to focus on tonight for me. But I bet you anything, our audience would rather us start with the college football playoff rankings. So I'm going to go ahead, acquiesce to that. I know where we live. I got you. Georgia, number 1 in the initial release of the 2017 college football playoff rankings. I don't get, up in arms about this stuff. It's the highest the Bulldogs have been ranked. In those CFP rankings, they got up to number 9 at one point in 2014, the first time they've been ranked at all since 2014, frankly. Alabama's number 2, but the clear favorite to win it all in Vegas. Las Vegas says, to hell with your rankings, kids. We're taking Bama. You can look at any of the books out there, and they are 2-3 to win the national championship. First time that two teams from the same conference have been ranked first and second in the fairly new college football playoff rankings. Any week, by the way, though, that's any week. That's a week. It's never happened before. Notre Dame is the highest-ranked one-loss team at number 3. But that makes sense given their schedule. It's arguably the most difficult schedule in the country. Depending on what you're looking at within FBS, it's the third toughest schedule, fourth toughest schedule. And they still have big games to play. So obviously we know all about that. And then I'm not completely surprised by what we saw with Clemson.
Me either. No, I thought Notre Dame and Clemson were going to be in that top group just because of how difficult Clemson's schedule has been.
This is pretty easy, right? The top 4 was pretty easy to guess. I mean, we might have put Alabama ahead of Georgia.
Right.
But Georgia's schedule's been good. I mean, a road win against Notre Dame is the difference maker there.
They're on pace to play each other.
Well, and moreover, had Bama really vanquished a quality Florida State team, then that wouldn't have been the case. But we're ass sorry, so it's not even a good win for them.
Yeah, it doesn't count for nearly as much as it should have.
Really hardly
anything.
anything.
Alabama fans saying, thanks.
Yeah, it won't matter. But, I mean, for them, it's probably like, it's a little bit like beating Ole Miss.
Sure. And once we get into the latter part of this month, then we'll care about seeding and, what matchups are best or worst suited for Team X. But, the only roadblock right now, this early in the process, that I can foresee is Alabama beats Georgia. Notre Dame and Georgia are right there on the bubble. What do you do?
Well, Georgia beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame.
Well, then, okay. If Georgia's in that playoff race, if it's in that spot, then who else you freezing out? There's going to be a musical chairs effect here.
But this happens all the time, and I do know this. It's not worth getting upset about November the 1st. Because it has a way of working itself out.
I tend to agree, but it would appear that this year, at least now, with a month to go, appears that we're going to have a musical chairs effect, unlike most other seasons.
Good, because we're out of it, so I'll watch everybody else fret.
With potentially a one-loss champion that gets, bumped the hell out, or Notre Dame, whichever one of those two.
You know what happens? It's always a not-so-subtle reminder if your team's involved in a potential screwing. It's a not-so-subtle reminder that they have an imperfect system in college football that decides their champion. And they have forever, always. They've never not had it. It's always been stupid. That's the way it works. And you're reminded of it constantly.
Yeah, it's what's going to be really, really fun is if the doomsday scenario plays out. Since we're not, in this race, might as well root for chaos, right?
Yeah.
That's what
Although in the past we rooted for chaos because we wanted change. We got our change. I'm not sure it's any better than the BCS. I liked the BCS. I was like the lone holdout. I thought, no, they did what they said they were going to do. It's still an imperfect system.
But if the BCS generated your top 4, I think you're having a little bit easier of a way than having, you know, whatever.
I thought that's what they should do.
Arkansas guy. I mean, I know he's not.
I'm not a big fan of a committee.
Right. Yeah.
Committees in
What's
general,
his name? Jeff, whatever his name
awfully
was?
dangerous.
Well, actually, if you look at game control, but to me, the argument gets really, really fun in about a month if you have, let's say, Georgia, Notre Dame, and maybe a 2-loss conference champion. And now you're debating between those 3 teams for a spot or 2 spots.
So the 2-loss conference champion, I'd tell to have a good day.
Okay. That could really happen in the Big 12, I would think.
Well,
Oklahoma, TCU, Oklahoma State, all candidates there.
What if Clemson, who's played this very difficult schedule, is a 2-loss champion?
And they're arguing against Notre Dame or Georgia for a spot, and you have a 1-loss Big 10 champion, 1-loss Big 12 champion, Alabama. Yeah. No, this could be really, really interesting.
It'll be a lot of fun. But those rankings did come out last night, and there you go.
But notice the discussion. We're not yelling at each other about who should be number 5 or 7 because it doesn't matter yet.
No,
it doesn't.
It doesn't. All right, so Yu Darvish will be the 3rd pitcher to start a winner-take-all World Series game after playing for a different team earlier in the season. Lance McCullers will start Game 7 of the World Series for Houston after saving Game 7 of the ALCS, by the way. He'll be the first pitcher in postseason history to start a Game 7 after saving one earlier that same postseason. Madison Bumgarner, by the way, also did both in 2014, but in different order. He started the wild card game and saved Game 7 of the World Series, so a little bit different there. I was blown away by some of the numbers that Stats and Info sent out last night after the game, and they've continued to churn those out. It's really about the best thing ESPN does besides give you live sports is their Stats and Info, which anybody can subscribe to, and it's a lot of fun to look inside the numbers of a World Series that's been this well played and this enjoyable to watch. But the fact that it's the first, I mean, there's so many firsts here, but it's the 39th World Series that comes down to a Game 7, a winner-take-all game, if you will. And in the home team, after 38 of these, is 19-19. You know, baseball's home field advantage just simply doesn't matter all that much, although this year feels like a big-time exception when you watch the way Houston plays in Houston as opposed to on the road. And obviously, you know, you've seen the stark contrast in runs, et cetera.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at the ALCS and the way that played out, that's a 2-3-2, and that's exactly how the results went, 2-3-2.
You know, and it's crazy, too. Some of those numbers that they spit out when you look at, like, Altuve and Correa when they're playing in Houston, and then you look at their wins and their losses. They have 7 wins this postseason in games played there. I mean, they've hit 435. They've OPS'd over 1,300. They've had 17 RBIs and 12 extra base hits. And when they're not playing there in their losses, they're hitting below 100. They're OPSing 242. They have 0 RBIs. Like that, you want one extra base hit between the two of them in those. That's crazy.
Wow.
Something about the batter's eye in Houston, eh?
Yeah, I would think so. To me, last night's game, I'm just still kind of jaw agape. I couldn't believe the mistake that Hinch made in the 7th inning when Gaddis legs out a double play ball. And, yes, that's right. Evan Gaddis legged out a double play ball.
That's a big-ass man right there.
It's a big dude.
Yeah.
And he gets in that crouch. And,
yeah. Anyway, he looks like if he got mad at you at the bar or something, you'd be in a world of trouble.
Right, he gets his hand on you, that's the end of the fight.
Call it a day
it's
here.
all over.
It's not going to work out for you.
However, it should have been the end of the fight for Gaddis when he got on base there.
Yeah.
You should put Derek Fisher in to pinch run right then, right there. And what happens? You get a ground ball deep in the hole to short, bounces and ricochets into left field, shallow left. But it would have been more than enough for the speedy Fisher to go first and third in that circumstance. Instead, it's first and second, one out. Fly ball means the runner tags from second to third base. A fly ball would have tied you the game at 2 there, changed the game pressure, as you like to say for football.
Yeah.
Momentum of the baseball game. Now the Dodgers are thinking about, oh no, are we going to lose tonight? Instead, inning break, 7th inning stretch. Jock Peterson goes oppo, 3-1. There's your ball game. Game over.
Players on both of these teams, and I love emotion, and I get it, and you're playing for the whole kit and caboodle. Some of these home run celebrations would carry over into spring training next year if I were involved. I mean, sweet Jesus. It's like professional wrestling.
Okay, so
guys go yard and you think it's their intro.
Yeah, you you texted me about Peterson.
I'm about done with that nonsense.
And your thoughts, and he does the money sign.
What the hell are we doing
yes.
here, man?
It's like he's Parkman in Major League 2.
It's really odd.
Yeah. Musgrove, they cut to him as he's rounding second going to third, and it's a close-up of Musgrove, and he's staring at Peterson, studying his movements.
Yeah.
And then they cut to Peterson with like the long, wide shot of him coming around third. They're following him down, and you could see in the background Musgrove is still watching everything Peterson is doing. I think it's fair to say if
some people are getting hit next year.
If Musgrove faces Peterson
at any point
next season,
bam,
it's going to be one to the ribs.
Yeah.
In fact, I promise you that's what's going to happen.
With the quickness. And again, I'm not, such a codger that it's like, well, listen, you can't do that. You can't. No. But my man. And the other night, in that crazy 13-12 game, the guy for the Dodgers was like,
oh, yeah.
Jesus is here.
That was,
it was the most silly thing I've ever seen. I'm like, dude, you did not tie the game.
Culberson.
Yes.
Yeah, that was game 2.
That was nuts. Like, my man, what's
going on with the Dodgers?
What's going on here, guys? This is bizarre. But really, you can find multiple celebrations on both teams where I go, we've never hit a home run before.
Well, it got elevated in that 15 postseason with the Joey Bats in Toronto.
Which was fun.
And then the Cespedes in New York.
He practically threw the bat into the stands.
I think it's great. I think it's great. I would prefer they do it on the road more because I'd like to see the fans get involved, like the heels. Nothing better than seeing the crowd boo somebody. In fact, Rich Hill appreciated that last night. But, man, this has been a hell of a series. And last night's game was everything. It was at 3-1, very tense game throughout.
Fun game.
And it was done in less than 5 hours.
I like that part of our game notes here is that it elicits, you may not remember him. You don't remember him. I'm almost certain you may have gone back and watched highlights or read of him. Amos Otis is his name came up in the stats after last night's game, and I went, oh, man, I saw Amos Otis play.
Famous Amos Otis.
The Dodgers forced a Game 7 by defeating the Astros. You guys know that. We're talking about it. 3-1. You watched it last night. Jock Peterson hit his third home run of the series and now has an extra base hit in 5 straight games. That's tied for the longest streak in World Series history, which had most recently been done by Amos Otis in 1980. And I'm old, and I remember Amos Otis, and I can remember I don't know. It just makes me smile when these names come out from the past. I think of speedy guys. I think of guys that throwback players on different teams. A lot of these guys played for like 8 different teams, and I can remember the uniforms. And
understand where I'm going here. I know this will freak you out with the question, but was Amos Otis a white guy or a black guy? Do you remember?
Amos Otis.
Because here's why. When it's 1980, I assume he's a black guy, but if it was 1912, I would assume, he was just that white guy with a big pot belly and he's smoking a cigarette.
Well, what I was going to tell you was that Amos Otis was not only a black guy, he was a black guy with a fro for a while.
Awesome.
So it was,
if you said it happened in 1912, beyond the integration thing, like the picture of the guy named Amos Otis is completely different in historical context in the early portion of the 20th century than it is, say, in 1980.
That is true, and you did concern me when you asked the question, and I initially thought, where is Tom going with this? But I'm glad that you've clarified.
Hell, even if you said 1955 Amos Otis, I'm like, well, that guy must have been smoking Lucky Strikes.
The reason that I thought of Amos Otis and smiled has nothing to do with necessarily me being in love with him as a player, but the fact that I had in my memory his baseball card when he played for the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1984, and I still have that baseball card, and that's what I remember. Now, he only played for the Pirates, I think, 1 season, maybe 2. He's not famous for being a Pirate, but it's my childhood memory of Amos Otis as a Pirate. He was primarily a Royal, and that's what I remember him as. But that's what his career is most known for. But I keep thinking about him with the Pirates at the end of his time.
Well, I remember watching as a Lightning fan, Dino Ciccarelli as a Lightning player. Nobody in NHL history thinks that Dino Ciccarelli is a Bolt.
I'd forgotten that. You're right.
He scored 600 goals. He played for the Lightning at one point.
But anyhow, by the way, one little side note about Amos Otis. He was very briefly with the Mets, but he and Gil Hodges hated each other. So
really?
Yeah.
Well, you got to get the hell on up out of here. You're talking to royalty now.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra E-Max 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Let you know we just lowered our prices on dog food and that he prefers something a little healthier.
At Petco, we believe price should never be a barrier to better nutrition. That's why we have new everyday low prices. Visit Petco today to chat with one of our nutrition specialists or go to petco.com to see for yourself.
Also, he said he'd really appreciate it if you would stop doing that weird thing in front of the mirror.
The coast is here. Wharf Casual Seafood is a family-friendly restaurant serving high-quality fresh seafood at a great value since 1986. Wharf Casual Seafood's philosophy is that seafood can be affordable, fast, and top-notch quality all at the same time. No one brings families together like Wharf Casual Seafood. Visit their Tallahassee locations on Bannerman Crossing and the newly opened Mahan location at the Costco shopping area. Open 7 days a week. Visit wharfcasualseafood.com for more information or to order online. No need to drive when the coast is here.
This is a court-ordered notice. Current and former Honda and Nissan owners or lessees can receive payments and other benefits from a legal settlement related to allegedly defective Takata airbags in their vehicles. To see if your vehicle is included and to file a claim, go to autoairbagsettlement.com or call 1-888-735-5596. That's autoairbagsettlement.com or 1-888-735-5596.
Hey, handsome, what's happening?
I'm ready for a beer, my man. How are you?
I am fantastic. This weather is beautiful.
Perfect, and I have a question for you. Snow cone or candy apple?
Ooh, both are sticky.
Both are tasty.
Candy apple.
No, that's the wrong answer. Halloween or Thanksgiving?
Ooh, one is sweet and the other one's savory. I'm going Thanksgiving.
Again. 16 Candles or Back to the Future?
Oh, my goodness. John Hughes or what's that boy's name? Marty McFly. I'm going 16 Candles.
Papa Grande with a Gordo smash. And by the way, I want that. Or a mountain of delicious croquetas. Also with a Gordo smash.
Trick question. Either way, you're not going to lose.
Exactamundo, my brother. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
You can always count on the Knolls to deliver. But what about your home comfort system? If your system is older or giving you problems, call the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning to check it out. Make the right call this season and turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Go Knolls. License number CAC 057652.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hey, look at this. I'm looking at the baseball schedule, Tom. I'm looking at Florida State's baseball schedule.
Ooh, all right.
It's easier to turn the page every day.
Gonna have a new scoreboard in left field.
Just turning the page every day. I'm finding all kinds of things. What's going on in lacrosse? What's happening? Beach volleyball. Of course, it's my job to also follow the golf as I do a Sirius XM show on the PGA Tour channel. But in addition, I'm you know what? I'm locked in women's soccer. We're doing some things. I'm turning the page, Tom. Moving on, Big River.
On the road again.
Just can't wait. Florida State announced its 2018 baseball schedule today on a glorious Balls McWednesday. That's not in the release. A slate that includes 37 home games at beautiful Dick Howser Stadium, antiquated as it is and in need of great repair or destruction, and 21 games against teams that have participated in the 2017 NCAA tournament. Quote, "This will be an exciting year against another tough slate of opponents." Mike Martin said, "We think our fans will enjoy the teams coming to Tallahassee, but our road schedule is a challenge as well. Looking forward to building on last season." Amongst the schedule highlights are 21 games against postseason teams from a year ago, including College World Series teams Florida and Louisville. FSU will host the Cardinals for a Thursday through Saturday series, Tom, over Easter weekend, March 29th through the 31st, while playing Florida in Gainesville March 13th, and as always, Jacksonville March 27th and April 10th. Miami comes to Tallahassee. Boo!
So what are you talking about, man? Don't go playing jokes.
April 27th through the 29th. In addition to that, Louisville and Miami, FSU will host Notre Dame. I like it. Duke and NC State travel for the ACC Weekend Series at Wake, North Carolina, Georgia Tech, Boston College, and Clemson. Along with North Carolina, Louisville, Florida, Clemson, NC State, Wake Forest, FSU will host NCAA tournament participants USF and UCF. They open the season against Xavier February the 16th. Yay!
So what are you talking about, man? Don't go playing jokes.
By the way, Mike Martin, just so you're reminded, is 32 wins. He's 32 wins shy of becoming the winningest coach in the history of college baseball.
Looked pretty bleak last year that he was going to have a crack at it in 2018, and now it looks pretty assured that he's going to accomplish it in 2018.
There was a stretch where they were struggling to sustain and keep their heads above water. That is the 500 line, if you will, and then they got healthy and they got better and they played great late. And went 46-23 in 2017. They've won at least 40 games in 40 consecutive seasons. All of that felt like it was on the line, but they got it turned around, and that's good news. And so, yeah, he most assuredly will get the 32 wins necessary, one would think, to become the winningest coach in college baseball history. Really, though, the big thing here is that we're all hoping before it's all said and done that he gets that national championship. And I don't got time today on the 1st of November for cynicism, so let's just keep on keeping on. We got some things to build on. All-American left-hander Tyler Holt leads the Holton, I'm thinking of yesteryear. Deep pitching staff. Cal Raleigh's got to bounce back, have a good year. Let's hope. Jackson Luke. There we go.
No time for cynicism today. On that note, how's the FSU football team looking?
Terrible. And that's not cynicism. That's a reality. That's a fact. That is the sorry situation that we find ourselves in. The game right around the corner against Syracuse in what should be a lovely afternoon at Doak Campbell Stadium, a place that Florida State has yet to win a game this year. So, might this be the first? Will we break into the win column at home, Tom? Might we walk out of that stadium in celebration of a home victory for the first time all year and move to 3-5?
You destroyed the only thing I love.
If they don't, then we're done with the bowl talk and a stretch of amazing football and a historical run that we're all very proud of will come to a crashing end in early November, November the 4th.
That's good to know.
That's not good to know, Coach. That's a problem. And it sits at your feet. And we're all waiting to see what is done about it. At this point, I think we all know a lot has to be done to correct the situation. To the extent it happens and how soon and the individuals involved, we all wonder. Every hour just about now, I think I get another text or an email or a phone call, just as you all do, and everybody's checking with sources and trying to figure out just who will be fired, who will be retained, who wants to leave. Are they fighting amongst each other? It's something to behold.
I couldn't hit the button I wanted to hit. I'll stay away from that button for the moment.
No, I was just thinking back today to the preseason platitudes, the suggestions that Derwin James was the best player in all of college football.
More than one outlet said so.
Preseason rank of number 3 in the country with a waiting matchup against Alabama. And, driving up to Atlanta, meeting friends and family, staying with my brother there, meeting my father, standing outside the brand new Mercedes-Benz Stadium, overrated as it is, and thinking, well, hopefully we play well tonight. It would be great to get a win, but even if we just keep it close, we're going to be all right for that college football playoff.
It's a good measuring stick
barometer here, right?
Of where we are as a program, right?
Yeah.
That was the talking point. We did say that.
Yeah. And they played hard that night.
They did. The defense played with more heart that night than it has
in a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
They played with a lot of heart, a lot of juice, a lot of what for, a lot of what have you. And from that point forward, though, it's been one disappointment after the other. Damn it, man. I just don't. It's the first time, I'm serious about this. It's the first time that, at least for me, since doing this show, since starting this show nearly 20 years ago now, that I have found myself and the program in this state. We've been bad. We've had some bad teams. We've had some teams that weren't talented enough to be much better than they were, the 7-6 campaigns that I'm talking about. But 2-5, guys pretty much quitting, infighting, and have it be a collapse of this magnitude so close together with the triumphs in the pinnacle of the sport, all the things that you achieved under the same regime under Coach Fisher.
With a roster littered with talent.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth. Like a Mahindra XTV 750S as low as $135 a month. Or get up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 3-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my poor truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time.
Friends at Dale Jr. Check them out on the corner of Capitol Circle Northeast and Miccosukee or by visiting online at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac.com.
It takes 4 essential ingredients to brew Bud Light: barley, rice, water, and hops. But this is a 30-second commercial. So here's the sound of barley malting. It's super quiet. Sorry. Here's to the beer you can always count on. Brewed to be America's favorite light lager. Bud Light, famous among friends. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
Contact your local CenturyLink retail store to enter for a chance to win the CenturyLink Ultimate Football Fan Experience, which includes a trip to the biggest game of the year. For eligibility and official rules, go to CenturyLinkFanForLife.com/FAQ. CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
The Home Depot's serving up holiday treats in the kitchen. Up to 40% off appliance special buys and 12 months financing on appliance purchases of $299 or more. Like the Samsung stainless steel gas range, Black Friday priced at just $598. With 5 burners, removable griddle, convection cooking, and almost unlimited possibilities. Our lowest prices of the year, now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only. See store for details. Credit offer valid through November 22nd. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan's service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm John Brickley. The Dodgers 3-1 win last night against the Astros, pushing the World Series to the brink. A Game 7 tonight at Dodger Stadium for the first time in the ballpark's history, meaning all hands on deck. And something's got to give tonight. The 39th all-time winner-take-all game in World Series history. The road team has won 19. The home team has won 19. Covered 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Lance McCullers Jr., Yu Darvish are the starters. NFL, Tom Brady's backup has arrived once again, with the Patriots reportedly agreeing on a 3-year contract with Brian Hoyer. Broncos have lost 3 straight. Vance Joseph electing to make a switch at quarterback. Brock Osweiler is in. Trevor Siemian is out, as Osweiler will start against the Eagles. Duke is number 1 in the AP preseason college basketball poll for the 2nd straight year and 9th time in program history, tying rival North Carolina for the most all-time. NBA, 8 Eastern on ESPN. Knicks play host to the Rockets.
The Nissan Heisman House is back. Rush over to NissanHeismanHouse.com to enter for a chance to win a new Nissan Titan. No purchase necessary. Ends December 8th, 2017. Open to residents of the USDC, 18 or older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I enjoy you guys could talk about your favorite ice cream. I'm just here for the entertainment now of the season. That's kind of the gist of the types of remarks on YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. It's what I'm getting in my inbox. It's what you see on Twitter. Whole lot of, guys, just please help me keep my mind off of what's happening here.
I don't like ice cream. Is that a conversation starter?
It has been in the past. That and cheese. You don't like cheese and ice cream, 2 things that I cannot fathom is possible, but okay.
You get me an Italian ice that's not, dairy-based, and I'm all day on that. Like the cherry Italian ices. Oh, buddy. Lemon. The Luigi's you get in the store.
No, I like them.
Hell yeah.
Hey, by the way, I want you to know this. I saw the first episode of the first season of Stranger Things.
You did?
I watched it.
Okay, and you didn't like it?
I did like it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first one, so there's a whole lot of what the hell's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
But I rather enjoyed it. I did. It was nostalgic. You're right. I grew up in that era. The stuff, the way the houses look and the outfits, the music, I could relate very much so. And it was. It's always oddly fun to see Winona Ryder in anything. So that was interesting.
She's a little aloof and crazy, and
she's out there, and
you might say she was made for that part.
Yeah. So I've seen one, and now we'll go on from there.
I thoroughly enjoyed that season. Again, it for what it is. You're not trying to break barriers here. This is not The Wire or Deadwood or anything like that.
Right.
But they're 40, 45-minute episodes. There's 8 of them for the season. That's it.
Yeah, I'll be ready to start season 2 here soon enough. Have you started season 2?
I have not. I've neglected to do that. This World Series and football team and hockey team, all the sports stuff. It's getting in the way of this Stranger Things deal. But I'll be trying to do that in the next week. I heard negative reviews, but I don't like that because sometimes the negative reviews are completely wrong.
Well, yeah, and reading reviews in general will oftentimes lead to poisoning.
Sure.
The well, if you will. Like you have no chance to look at it objectively. You go in thinking, well, everybody says this sucks. So you're looking for anything that does. Oh, that's ridiculous. No wonder. So.
That show's just fun. If you can just treat it as a fun 45 minutes just to decompress and enjoy and laugh a little bit.
So we're so segmented now. You won't find shows that are universally agreed upon all that often anymore. I kind of miss this. There's a nostalgic take to all of this too, in that so in the golden age of television, if you will, if a show rose to prominence, you could bet that 60-70% of the country was watching that show. And it became water cooler talk. It was something that happened. You came in and you talked about whatever show it was that was popular last night. And everybody gave their opinion about it. And you could bond with it. And you could that was at least a familiar talking point that people could agree upon or not agree upon, but it was an innocent enough subject, right? You didn't have to walk around on eggshells. I'm going in, I'm going to talk about ER last night. What really could we argue about? It's just ER. But that doesn't exist anymore.
I'd rather talk about Manafort, Jeff. Let's delve into that.
So that doesn't exist anymore. And not only does it not exist anymore, but good shows, and there are a lot of quality shows, are difficult to find because you don't know where the hell they are.
Yeah.
You need somebody to tell you that you really trust implicitly, hey, listen, there's this network called such and such, and you're like, I've never even heard of that network. It's on Netflix, and then or Amazon or whatever it is, right? And it's a series with so-and-so. He's still alive? Oh, not as only is he alive, he kicks ass in this series. Well, I'm going to watch it. I've always liked Louis Anderson. And then the next thing you know, you're watching something that you didn't even know existed on a network you didn't know existed with an actor you thought was dead. And it's awesome. It's better than anything you saw 20 years ago that everybody bought into because there's freedoms and artistic freedoms that didn't exist back then and different budgets and all that other stuff. And so anyhow, it can also cater to your sensibilities.
Well, you're outside of the FCC scope, too.
Right.
That might help a little bit.
So, anyhow, you have more choices and an influx over the last, say, 5 years of probably a higher hit rate of better shows than you got in 10 years from a singular network that we were all locked into.
Yeah, HBO opened the gates.
Oh, yeah, it changed everything. But finding this stuff can be damn difficult. I'm busy.
Well, so for example, when Amazon Prime puts out it has a new show or Hulu, and I see the previews for them, I go, well, I'll bet that's good.
I bet it's awesome, but I don't have the time.
I don't.
There are too many of these.
Yeah.
And people binge watch. You can binge watch better than I can for obvious reasons. You're not getting up as early. You don't have to. You shouldn't. Mm-hmm. And you don't have kids. So those two things alone mean that you don't often anymore, but you can stay up till midnight and watch 5 episodes of a show and then finish it off the next night. I'm not doing that.
I was up till midnight last night with the World Series, and I was hating life. I was like, God.
Brutal this morning.
Well, because, was it the 8th inning? I think it was the bottom of the 8th.
But I don't wish for when a game's good. I'm not saying please finish. I just know I'm going to pay a dear price.
No, well, what I wanted was I want the Astros to come up in the 9th. I want to see them bat. It's going to take 20 minutes and a couple pitching changes and at bats with a minute between each pitch for me to get to see. At that point, I'm rooting so drastically against the Dodgers of putting a blooper or something in the gap to make it 5-1. I'm like, don't make me sit here all this time to watch them put one in the gap, and I don't get to see the Astros bat with a fighting chance to win this game. Now, the Astros were dismissed in short order in the 9th inning. I get that. But I want to see that moment because that's the team that's trailing. That's the team that's got to do something to come back and win. So that got on my nerves, and that's why I pushed to midnight. But at the same time, yes, back to the television discussion, there's so much good TV on right now.
Fargo, have you seen Fargo?
No, and I hear it's great.
So I have seen it, but not, as I haven't seen close to all 3 seasons. There are a million,
and they're all separate.
They're all so you can start anywhere.
Correct.
But there's Fargo, and you're thinking, well, where the hell is Fargo? FX? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so all these different things. Yes, I don't have the time. How am I going to catch up on these things?
Yeah. No, honestly, I didn't watch Stranger Things until 3 weeks ago when I was probed to do so.
What's the series I told you to watch that I didn't watch, that I told you to watch that you didn't watch, and you've told me countless times to Better Call Saul?
Oh, well, Better Call Saul.
Yeah,
oh, God,
I never watched it. And I love, obviously I should.
I put Stranger Things down. Watch Better Call Saul.
Yeah, I know I should.
You'd really, I mean.
What was the one I.
Open the back door in the house.
You finally did it?
Open the back door in the house.
Yeah.
When
the cool air come
Well,
in?
not anymore this weekend, but in December, grab some nice single malt and watch Better Call Saul for 2 or 3 episodes. You'll be so thankful you did.
All right.
It's so good.
I shouldn't go back and watch the highlights of the Florida State-Louisville game, breaking it down.
Those were the days when you could go and look at opponents and, worry about what this means.
You could talk about the strategy necessary to win a football game and which players would be key for the matchup on Saturday. And right now, none of us feel compelled to do it because it doesn't matter if you don't want to play. Meaning, if the players don't care to be there, it doesn't matter at all what you try to teach them, what strategies you employ, what schemes you're running, what formations you're in. It makes zero difference. And that was the whole thing about the BC game, was I said that game was important because it would tell me whether or not they've completely checked out or not. And they clearly have. They've clearly checked out. And I don't know how, in a season that's lost, with a culture that is, quite frankly, obviously toxic, you can get it back to come back and play hard and well and smart on Saturday. I mean, maybe they do, but there's no way of predicting that. There's no evidence that suggests that's going to happen. So it feels like you're just lambs being led to slaughter, and it's heartbreaking. That I have not had to confront before. And look, it's a football game. I get big picture stuff, right? Pick yourself up. Put your big boy pants on. I got it, man. I'm not losing sleep over this stuff. But for any of us who are passionate about the school, about the team, about the season, and about these games, it is awfully difficult to admit. I mean, I find myself wrestling with this. This idea that, well, I should not waste 3 hours, other than my job. I should not waste 3 hours, 4 hours of my time on a team that's not going to care to try.
I think the one way it could come back around and the team, gives a damn again is if the offense,
gets it going early.
Yeah, puts up 10, 14 points early.
Gives you a chance to win it.
Then I think the defense invests and Syracuse is in trouble. But, the fact that we have to go to a place where we say, well, if we do that, then Syracuse is in trouble. I mean, that kind of.
Well, there's a human interest element in all of this. There is a kind of a male soap opera element to what we're watching. It's hard to fathom. I mean, you're taken aback every day that you read or hear of a detail that shocks you, that speaks to the toxic culture. And how much of it is true, we spend some of our day trying to find out, because I don't want to give erroneous information. And at the same time, I mean, you don't have to be a great sleuth to understand what's happening here. You can just see it play out on the field. So even if only certain elements of what you're hearing are true, the product itself suggests that there is a lot more going on behind the scenes that are bad than you're even hearing about. And I don't know. I'm curious. I wish I could talk to Coach Fisher about this in a public setting in a way that would allow us to glean insight on the show. Obviously, it'd be great for ratings, and it would be great radio. But I'd like to learn what his plan is, because I think right now just the idea of talking about facing an up-tempo team and they run 90 plays and Dino Babers has got it's just fruitless. I mean, it's just, so what?
Yeah, do you care to be there?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what you're up against if you don't care to be out there playing against anybody.
All right, so let me ask you. Here's our pre-production meeting live on the air on Wednesday for the Saturday pregame show. How do you attack a pregame show for 2 hours?
Big picture. You look big picture. You look back at Florida State's you look at Florida State's seasons. You look at the seasons from 1976 to now. You look at all the times that they were close to having a situation like this.
Pro combat unis on a Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you give historical context to what's at play right now. You talk about the fact that this may be, for many of us, especially anybody my age, 46 years old or whatever, I mean, that you don't recall anything like this. And what does it mean? And if it's possible to get out from under this kind of a setback.
Here's a fundamental question for you. It's worth it, though. Everything we did, right? You know, with replacing Bowden with Fisher because you climbed the mountain. And if you have to
won
go,
another national title.
If you have to go through this, it's all worth it, right?
Yes, it is worth it. It became worth it when you won the national title. Also, when you had the practice facility built, indoor practice facility built, infrastructure got revamped, investment returned. Yes, you obviously stamped your place back amongst football's elite where you had been absent for the better part of a decade. So without question, it's worth it. It's hard to go through it. It's also why Fisher is getting this extra shot at it. Most fans believe Fisher deserves the opportunity to fix this situation, and they believe that because he returned Florida State to glory, because he proved he could coach and recruit and win football games at the highest level, including a national title, recruiting a Heisman Trophy, an eventual Heisman Trophy winner. Believe me, those things in your trophy case add up to dollars and cachet and donations. So he deserves that shot, and most people are there, but they're getting angrier by the second when they see the quit.
Yeah, one thing that, you know, when it comes to media, and let's just look at the mechanics of writing. So I'm English major, used to do, you know, workshops and stuff. We would always, you know, peer edit other people's work, whether it be it articles, essays, fiction pieces, whatever. The reason being, if you're editing somebody else's stuff, you're editing mechanics. If you edit your own stuff, you see meaning, not mechanics.
That's correct.
So it's easier, in this sense, here's the question for Jimbo. It's much easier to walk into somebody else's mess and see what should be done to fix it. But when it's your own mess, can you see beyond your intention? And can you see the mechanics for what they are?
That's why we've asked that question every day this week. It's why it's the only question that really matters. Is he willing to accept that the very thing he utilized to turn this around and modernize a program that was lost in yesteryear and had been passed over is now something that he has to make changes to and accept responsibility for? All of the good that came with it, certainly we celebrated, including that national championship. He did too. He's been fond of saying, though, that even if you're winning, there are always things that you have to look out for and worry about and fix, and obviously not get stuck in a stationary position, because if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. And he's talked about these are the sayings, these are the things about be better than yesterday, and all of these things that he adhered. Well, okay, when that's not happening, when it all falls apart around you, even though the very things you utilize to get to the top of the mountain are now things that run stale, you have to be able to look inside and say, well, what did I not do? What did I not change? How did I let this get to a point where we could be 2-5 and get beat 35-3 by Boston College? And that is some serious self-reflection. That is a brutal process for anybody. I don't envy him. At the same time, he's paid handsomely to do it, not a volunteer.
He's also a first-time head coach.
Yeah, at some point, do you say, though, that doesn't matter when you've been a head coach for 8 years?
If it's your first time failing in your life in football, he told you on Sunday that he's never lost.
He's never been on a losing team. He was an assistant coach on an Auburn team that lost and lost big. But that's
he
different.
Didn't have to answer
he
for
didn't
it.
know, right. He wasn't the head coach, right.
It's like he would be it would be like a company.
Listen, he's got enough football smarts to certainly, rack his brain as to things that he could tweak or do or infuse that would bring life to the program. But also, it's not about that. It's not about his intelligence. He's got immense intelligence, especially when it comes to football. It's putting the ego down and making some calls. It's having to kind of. I mean, there's no shame in that. We all reach a place in our life where we ask for advice. We need some help because we recognize that we maybe aren't seeing it the way it really is because we're in it. It's the hardest thing in the world to do. And that's the soap opera that's playing out now. And that's the hard part because these games are still going on. We're waiting for all this stuff, and these damn games, they're like a nuisance. You're like, oh, we got to play this game. Can we get to the fixing? I want to get to the fixing. Okay, we forfeit the remainder of the games. Can we get to the fixing? That's what, that's where we're at.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra Emax 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Now heating and air conditioning to check it out. Make the right call this season and turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Go Knowles. License number CAC 057652.
Do you like video games, live music, dancing, and having fun with your friends? Swing by the new Fire Betty's, located in Midtown on Thomasville Road and 5th Avenue. Not only can you quench your thirst, but now Fire Betty's offers a new fun food menu as well. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m., there's something fun going on every night. From trivia on Wednesdays to live music on Fridays, hospitality nights on Thursdays, and unique music video DJ Saturdays. Come take a trip down memory lane and make some new ones too. Happy hour at Fire Betty's is Tuesday through Saturday from 5 to 8 p.m. And don't forget about Sunday Fun Day with the NFL Red Zone, liquid brunch and drink specials all day, starting at 3 p.m. For catering or private parties, message Fire Betty's on Facebook.
Do you want the cleanest used car, truck, or SUV at the lowest price? FranksAutoWorld.com. How has Frank's Auto World become Tallahassee's fastest growing used car dealer? Simple. Frank carries up to 70 of the cleanest used cars, trucks, and SUVs, then prices them on the internet lower than the competition. Think I'm kidding? Type in FranksAutoWorld.com on your smartphone, iPad, or desktop. Get multiple pictures and even a free Carfax of each vehicle and a rating by Car Guru showing you the price is a good deal. FranksAutoWorld.com.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan's service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
The coast is here. Wharf Casual Seafood is a family-friendly restaurant serving high-quality fresh seafood at a great value since 1986. Wharf Casual Seafood's philosophy is that seafood can be affordable, fast, and top-notch quality all at the same time. No one brings families together like Wharf Casual Seafood. Visit their Tallahassee locations on Bannerman Crossing and the newly opened Mahan location at the Costco shopping area. Open 7 days a week. Visit wharfcasualseafood.com for more information or to order online. No need to drive when the coast is here.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm John Brickley. The Dodgers 3-1 win last night against the Astros, pushing the World Series to the brink. A Game 7 tonight at Dodger Stadium for the first time in the ballpark's history, meaning all hands on deck. And something's got to give tonight. The 39th all-time winner-take-all game in World Series history. The road team has won 19. The home team has won 19. Covered 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Lance McCullers Jr., Yu Darvish are the starters. NFL, Tom Brady's backup has arrived once again, with the Patriots reportedly agreeing on a 3-year contract with Brian Hoyer. Broncos have lost 3 straight. Vance Joseph electing to make a switch at quarterback. Brock Osweiler is in. Trevor Siemian is out, as Osweiler will start against the Eagles. Duke is number 1 in the AP preseason college basketball poll for the 2nd straight year and 9th time in program history, tying rival North Carolina for the most all-time. NBA, 8 Eastern on ESPN. Knicks play host to the Rockets.
The Nissan Heisman House is back. Rush over to NissanHeismanHouse.com to enter for a chance to win a new Nissan Titan. No purchase necessary. Ends December 8th, 2017. Open to residents of the USDC 18 or older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. 5 Balls McWednesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. If you do, we'll post all 3 hours both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. Limited commercial interruption. Email the show if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at JCameronShow. Thanks for the follow there. And on YouTube, you can watch us perform our duties gladly, I might add. I was asked this last night, ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. Hello, YouTube people. I was trick-or-treating last night with our mutual friend Matt Millar and his family, lovely family, and other friends. And we were going through I love that. I love going through the neighborhoods and watching the kids do it up and have a good time. And what's up?
When you said his name, I forgot that at the old place we had a clip of him reading a sub store's copy. Mm-hmm. And the positioning question is looking for something big and meaty.
Yeah.
And we had that clip, and I wish I could hit that right now as you brought his name up, but that got lost in the transition.
So anyhow, somebody was trick-or-treating with their kids, and I think they heard my voice, and he was an avid listener, and so the kid came up and said, we listen to you every day, it's nice to meet you, and that's always flattering and really cool, and I asked him what he got for Halloween, and we had a good little conversation. But the reason why did I bring this up? I brought this up.
Brought it up because people asked if you still like doing your job.
That's right. I love my job, and it's partly those kinds of interactions when you meet somebody who says, "Listen, this is what I do for a living. I get an opportunity to listen to you for about an hour every day, and it makes me smile. And you and Tom do a great job, and that's awesome. That's cool. It's really good. And it's also a reminder when I meet those people that and don't take this the wrong way, that their jobs are worse than mine. That when they tell me what they do, I go, oh, that's awesome, good. And I think, glad I don't do that. Glad I'm a talk show host. This is really cool. So even when I think that, and then they follow it up. I don't say that, but even when they follow it up with, is it tougher these days to do your job than it is when they're winning? Like when the train is off the tracks, man. The plane has crashed into the side of the mountain, and people are just done with this football team. Is it harder or easier to do your job is a frequent question we're getting these days. And I think it's the same. I think that if the team is great, there's a buzz in the air. There is certainly a collective excitement that you can feel. I mean, literally, you can almost feel it as you turn on the mic to do the show, that we're all in, we're all having a good time. Let's talk about this thing that's building momentum. Let's talk about what's possible. Where is it going? Might this be a championship contender or whatever it might be? But also when it's really bad, people love a good train wreck. People, it's the old gawking at the car wreck. I mean, this is where we're at right now. It's whoa, what is going on over here? I thought it was bad. I didn't think it was this bad. I mean, how far can we fall? I mean, how low will we go? What is going to happen to the head coach? What's going to happen to his assistants? What does the university think? Are there guys looking to get out before season's end? What are the players thinking? I mean, to get what we got yesterday from Pugh to say that basically guys are on there. I think you have the sound clip from him talking about this. It's stunning. It is stunning.
Yeah, when he's saying everybody is kind of looking out for themselves at this point, and he doesn't know if it's for the NFL or if it's for whatever reason. It's just there's not accountability.
You have a player in an interview setting saying that there's a lack of leadership and there's no accountability.
With that sports info staff who doesn't, you know what I mean, who is very protective of the way players talk
they
about
coach
the
up
program.
Players before they go out there. They tell them the things to be on the lookout for and what they should and shouldn't answer. And, by the way, I don't begrudge them that. They ought to do that. I would. I mean, I've thought for years that, a good hire would be me. Just pull me aside over there. I'll pull these guys aside before everyone. Having worked in media for 20 years, I can tell you what you're going to get asked and how that's going to sound and how your answer is going to play. And why don't we go through this? Why don't we role play a little bit here? I'll ask you the question. Let's hear what your answer is. They should prepare them. Knowing that they do and that we still got that answer, well, my goodness, that is stunning indeed.
The one thing I'd say about is it harder or easier, I think it's tougher because this season, the feelings about this season are bordering on apathy, right? I mean, if you're just talking about the games.
The games, yes. The games and the results of the games are less of a concern currently. It's all big picture stuff. But I don't think that the apathy because of repeated mediocre to subpar seasons have set in. That apathy occurred during the lost decade because there was no sense that Florida State was going to win anything ever, like anything big. You just kind of went for years at a time. You went into a season thinking, we're going to win a few games, maybe one that surprises us. We're going to lose a couple games, one that shocks us. We're going to be butt-ass average. We're not going to matter in the big scheme of things. We won't be the dregs of the earth. We won't be the worst team in the conference, but we won't be anywhere near elite. I'm going to go play golf. I'm certainly not going to get in my car and drive 6 hours to go see that product. We're not there.
It's funny. You say all that, and I can remember being a student for that era, and I can remember lying to myself that I didn't believe that. Unless it was beaten at once it was beaten out of me in September. But I can remember it being, a circumstance where, all right, well, if we get over the hump, we beat Miami week 1. Because we played them on Monday nights, it seemed like, every year. Or if we can win that first ranked game.
It'll change everything.
Well, because the preseason polls always put us in the top 20 every year. So you saw the ability to climb, and you believed that the recruiting rankings were telling you the whole truth. But in those days, if Florida State offered you, you were rated automatically higher than you should have been. And you conceded when Tebow was there that you weren't going to beat Florida. But every other year you thought, well, okay, let's see, we can handle Florida, we can handle Miami. Clemson wasn't a true rival yet. That game was important, but it wasn't like a true rivalry the way it is now.
They weren't great yet.
Man, you thought you could navigate that thing, win 10 or 11 games, and go to a nice bowl. But it would be beaten out of us as students as we got into October every single year. Every single year. But in the moment, you didn't feel that way. You didn't think that way. The adults, I'm sure, did. But not us kids.
Not in the beginning. I remember thinking 2002, 2003, 2004 that okay, even though I was the one ringing the bell and saying we're not getting everything out of these guys that we're bringing in, we're not playing up to our talent level, we're underachieving, and it looks like we're starting to slip, and I would point to certain coaches specifically. I remember citing Jimmy Hagens and other guys that I thought were doing a poor job. I did hold out hope that somebody would come along. For example, Chris Ricks's freshman season, his best year. He gave you hope because you thought, well, this kid's going to be pretty good, and if he improves on what I just saw this year, then, man, we're going to be good. And then he didn't, and they didn't, and things got worse. And obviously Jeff didn't do a very good job, and so there were a lot of problems there. So anyhow, eventually we all kind of. Yeah, about 2005, 2006, you're going, man, they suck.
But that's what I'm saying. For me, it wasn't until 07, 08 that I was willing to admit. Because I just got on campus.
Yeah, you've been beaten down long. I know, you want to believe, right. Yeah, it's hard to think that I'm going to be going to school here at a time when the program, unlike all the previous years that my siblings went here and the people that I know that graduated in the 90s or even 80s, late 80s especially, the time I'm going to be here is going to be where we go back to just being a nothing program. Damn it, man. Now, yeah, you were in denial. I could understand that.
The answer was yes. I mean, we had close games with Troy and UAB and Jacksonville State.
Big comeback against Jacksonville State. Let's not forget. Big comeback.
Did we struggle with Rice? I don't know.
Yes.
Was that accurate? Okay. Yeah, they all kind of blend together for maybe one reason or another. Mm-hmm. But I can remember on the eve of the 2006 season kicking off, my first year in Tallahassee, the 05 season I was up at Iona. People are talking about Drew Weatherford having a decent freshman season, and who knows, maybe he takes the next step, and then we beat Miami in an ugly game on a Monday night. And you think, oh, well, okay, we could be a top 10 team too.
Nope, couldn't.
Not to be.
No, wasn't to be. World Series Game 7 tonight. All righty, and I am pleased. That is not fake enthusiasm. I will be engaged. I'll be missing some of this. I'll be racing home upon finishing Beyond the Tips on Sirius XM PGA Tour channel. This happened, by the way, also a year ago, a little over a year ago. We were, I think we made our Beyond the Tips debut during Game 7 of Cleveland-Chicago. And I remember thinking, if you're listening to us, you really like golf.
Yeah.
Like in an unhealthy way, you really like golf.
Well, there's that good commercial that's on right now where presumably the wife is painting and she says, turn on MLB Network Radio, PGA Tour Network.
Every time I go, yeah, buddy. Where's my voice?
Yeah, too bad it's not your voice.
I'm always like, where am I?
Can this be a best of 21? Can we make this a best of 21, please?
It has been so good. So the Dodgers last night obviously forced Game 7. They beat the Astros 3-1. Jock Peterson hits his third home run of the series. And now we get this Game 7, winner take all, which everybody loves in every sport. And it's the third time in Major League Baseball history that two 100-win teams have met for a winner take all World Series game. And the home team won the previous two. But you know when they were? 1912 and 1931. That's right. Hasn't happened since 1931. That's stunning. I know I talked to you off the air about this, and you were what stat are you talking about, Jeff? That is crazy. But that's where we sit.
A little aghast, yes. Yes, I was.
And I went through just the various Game 7 stats. The Dodgers have never won a Game 7 World Series game at home. They're 0-2 all time. This is their first World Series winner-take-all game since 1965. It will be the first ever World Series Game 7 at Dodger Stadium, the third oldest active stadium in all of Major League Baseball, by the way. It's the 9th World Series at that venue. It's the first time that back-to-back World Series, back-to-back years have gone to Game 7 since 2001, 2002.
D-backs over Yankees, and then Angels over Giants.
Yeah. And D-backs over Yankees in one of the all-time great series.
It was indeed. That was Mr.
Young Kim giving up all those home runs?
Yes, it was. Yes. And that was Mr. November, Derek Jeter, and also the George W. Bush first pitch. Yeah, that had a lot. That had a lot of drama.
A lot of going on in that series.
Luis Gonzalez, the bloop job for the series win.
That's what we all call it, the bloop job. This will be the 39th World Series winner-take-all game all-time. 38 previous, 19 and 19. The home team, 19 and 19. It doesn't really make that big a difference typically. And again, like I said before, this is the second straight series that the Astros will play a Game 7, and they're the fourth team to play multiple Game 7s in postseason history. The Royals did it, and the Royals won it in '85.
It's funny, you attach yourself to different memories and teams and moments in sports history. I can remember talking points about the 2002 World Series, but I can't remember how any game went in that series. K-Rod was there. They had the Rally Monkey, Barry Bonds.
Couldn't get Barry Bonds out.
Right. Garrett Anderson, whatever. But I don't remember how the series went. I don't know who was ahead 2-1.
I've got one memory of that series that will make you smile, and were you here then?
Where?
You weren't. You weren't in Tallahassee, but do you remember? I know you visited here because your sister went to school here too.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being at a restaurant called B. Merrill's off of Appalachia Parkway. It was a wing beer place. It was awesome. B. Merrill's is where the place is now.
Yeah. Okay.
That was B. Merrill's.
Right there.
That's,
okay,
yeah.
Lafayette area, yeah.
So I used to go there because they had something called the World Beer Tour.
Okay, this is before World of Beer with the card and stuff.
And they gave me the little pamphlet there. Me and my roommate, Bill Logan, who he and I were in school at the same time. We would go up there and we would try to cross off all. We wanted to defeat this World Beer Tour. It was 119.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, and we did. We had our picture on the wall, and we were very proud of that. It was something to behold. But that said, they had great wings, big ones, big ass wings. I miss them. And I used to go there, and my dad was in town, and we watched the Angels come back. He's a Giants fan.
Oh.
And and we were eating these delicious wings.
They rally monkey.
And a rally monkey got them. And it wasn't the final game, but it was an important game, and one that he thought meant that they were going to lose the series. Turned out he was right. He was a bit of a fatalist back then. And I remember we got in the car and left B. Merrill's, and he said, "We're never going to win the World Series. I won't get to see it in my lifetime. At least you got to see your Pirates win a World Series in your lifetime, and you'll always remember that. I'm never going to get that with my Giants." And then after they won it 3 freaking times, I told him, "You can shut the hell up. You guys win it every other year. I'm done with that conversation. It's ridiculous." Every time they'd lose a game in the postseason, even after they won the World Series, he'd go, "Oh, my Giants are just going to choke it away." I go, "Shut up. You just won the World Series. I don't care. We haven't won one since 1979. I was 8. I'm 46 years old. Go to hell."
Pushing 50.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
To pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth. Like a Mahindra XTV 750S as low as $135 a month. Or get up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 3-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin, Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Beef O'Brady's Burgers across America with Des Moines Triple Bacon, Green Bay's 5-Cheeser, or the Memphis Love Me Tender. All made with premium blend Angus. Pick any two for just $17. Beefs, but your Angus, it's good.
Proof Brewing Company is Tallahassee's first and largest production craft brewery since 2012. They are locally owned and operated inside Railroad Square Art Park. Visit Proof's expansive brewery, outdoor beer garden, and tasting room with live music on Friday evenings. Proof Brewing Company's award-winning beers 850 and Mango Wit are now available in 6-pack cans. Follow Proof Brewing Company on Facebook or visit online at proofbrewingco.com for more info. Proof Brewing Company reminds you to please drink responsibly.
Hey, Fido!
Yes, bud?
Hey, have you heard about that Hair of the Dog sports bar?
Yeah, it's all everyone's been barking about. It's Midtown's #1 sports bar with over 50 TVs, burgers, loaded nachos and wings, and a massive bar. Plus, Hair of the Dog is human-friendly, but you gotta keep them on a leash.
Sounds like a great place to watch those human teams play catch.
You mean football?
Hair of the Dog Sports Bar, Midtown, North Monroe behind Brugger's. Best drink prices and juiciest burgers in town.
Sexy French poodles welcome.
At the Home Depot, we know communities are more than bricks and mortar. They're people, and we're part of your community too. So in the wake of Hurricane Irma, we're here to help. We have essential items in the front of the store, making it easy for you to get what you need, quickly. We're doing our best to keep those supplies in stock. And of course, we're maintaining the same everyday low prices. Because when our community needs us, the Home Depot is here to help.
At Whole Foods Market, we believe in real food. Food that's full of nutrients, naturally vivid and colorful, fresh and delicious. Food that connects you to your body, to the seasons, and to the natural world. We believe food should nourish you and help you think. It should help you feel calm, clear-headed, and strong. It should help you do more, sleep better, and wake up happier. That's food that lives up to its name. We believe in real food. Whole Foods Market.
Mahindra's inventory clearance is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth, like a Mahindra 750S Camo as low as $135 a month, or up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Only from Mahindra.
North Florida and South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT Super Center, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSuperCenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Not stunning to see that Duke is the preseason #1 ranked team in all the land in college basketball. That would be the AP poll. It's also important to note that college basketball rankings in November don't matter in any way, shape, or form, nor do they matter in December. Really, they don't matter.
How about gold medals? Do they matter?
You got me. I wasn't ready for Coach K this early.
I'm here.
I was not ready. You caught me off guard. Well done. Do you make the tournament? Does this team make the tournament? I got to get my guys. I got some folks to talk to. I got some things I got to do before I really invest.
You go through your annual basketball meetings about this time of year.
I do. I have several little check marks. You know, last year I told you they'd be good. I was right. But I've got to do my due diligence. I got to sit down. I got to talk with some folks.
Jeff, they were an embarrassment. They were an embarrassment last year. Are you kidding me? They only made the tournament and made the second round.
Yeah, they not only made the tournament, which I predicted they would. They went on to the second round. They also didn't lose a single game at home. Yay! Now, you can't lie. Even those of you that really want to hate this basketball team, and there's a lot of you. It was fun to go to the TLC Double C last year. It was remarkable. Game in and game out. you and I went to several games and sat up there and had some wings and beers together and enjoyed the contests that we took in every time.
Oh, yeah.
It's fantastic.
Even the one where we were just in the normal stands. I mean, the normal ones.
I don't know. That was a tough night, but yes, we
The
were
Duke
in
game.
the regular stands. Yes.
The Duke game was great. They looked like they were a discombobulated mess, and of course, they got their stuff together as the season waned.
Always do.
And it looked like we peaked a little early. But it doesn't matter. The fact that we peaked at all and that we were in the top 15, top 20 for this program, again, people just, sometimes expectations.
Well, I think sometimes we bring football expectations to basketball, and the money that is invested and spent in the two programs is quite disparate. So, especially by way of comparison to the other programs in the conference. So, I do think it's reasonable to expect that you can sustain a level of play to where you get to the NCAA tournament 3 out of 5 years, something along those lines, 2 out of every 4 years, somewhere in there. So, they made it. They finally made it, and they needed to because they were at a crossroads. They were at a place where it was legit if you were angry and just about done. So good. They took the big step forward. Now you wonder, with all that they've lost, is there something there that will allow you to sustain it? I don't care if you're good. I care, are you good enough just to get in? Because you got to create that momentum and create a situation where you're a regular.
Yeah, fair to say this is an important year to make the tournament?
I think so. I mean, I don't know that they will. I have my doubts, certainly. But, again, I'm not prepared to really kind of sit down and take it all in just yet and talk about it in depth. I'm not there yet. We're still in the heart of football season. We just got the college football playoff rankings that came out. We've got obviously the end of the Major League Baseball season, the World Series Game 7 tonight. NFL is in full throttle. So I'm not quite there yet. I haven't turned the corner yet. I joke about turning the page, but and I had to have my meetings.
Better chance. Florida State football beats Syracuse this weekend. Florida State basketball beats Syracuse this season.
Florida State basketball. Syracuse is going to suck at basketball this year.
All right.
So, yeah.
He said it. He said it, folks.
Yeah. But I mean, again, our football team, it's always a matter of whether or not we care to be there. Although the injuries have now mounted, so even in some situations where we care to be there, we are at a disadvantage in some areas that we weren't before the season began due to those injuries. But this wouldn't be one of those games where injuries have taken such a toll that you would lose this game if you bothered to show up, care, and play hard. If you bother to show up, care, and play hard, you'll win this game.
Most important change Jimbo Fisher could make outside of personnel to you? I mean, if you're listing priorities for this offseason and you won't know them potentially until we get to either camp or the 2018 regular season, what's the most important thing if you were listing a priority for change? What would be the number one thing for Jimbo to do?
Well, but see, what I would want him to do is tied directly to these personnel changes and how it affects the culture. He's got to get the culture back to where it was in 2013, 2012, 2011 when he embarked on all of this, where he got guys to believe in a vision and buy in, work hard, and it culminated in that championship. Got to bring in guys who care to be here, who care to work hard, to care to buy in and sell that message to their teammates. And I don't think he can do that without a massive overhaul in the staff. I mean, there's just the
reason I removed personnel was just because there are going to be new bodies here next year, but that's not enough by itself.
Okay, so I mean, this will be taken the wrong way, I think, and I don't, because I think he's a good coach. I don't think there's any question he's a good coach. And I think the process of going 2-5 in that game that they lost to BC might do this for him, so it may not be necessary, but humble yourself a little bit. And I don't mean in the sense that, like, when I'm talking to Jimbo off the record or on the record, I don't get the sense that he's trying to belittle or talk down or condescend. I don't think that I'm not saying it that way. You know, a lot of times you meet arrogant people, you're like, this guy. That's not how I feel when I talk to Coach Fisher. I feel like we have on-the-level conversations that are interesting and respectful both ways. But I mean about the process and about what you believe, you know, about your philosophy, about the things that you believe are cornerstones of your program. I think you have to be willing to maybe accept that some of those have to change. Not your core values, not your core philosophy. That's not going to change. No coach is really going to change that. But, you know, we keep citing a Brian Kelly-like thing. Well, one of the things he did when I talk about humble yourself and remove your ego a little bit, there's a guy who has been hands-on as they come, who's taken great pride, rightfully so, in his successes because he's been a winner everywhere he's ever been, hence the reason he got hired at Notre Dame. And he was an offensive mind, well thought of, including by Jimbo Fisher, a well thought of offensive play caller and offensive mind as a whole. He's done a good job everywhere he's been. I mean, the fact that he delegated that to a new OC and took his hands off of it, you know how that's a remarkable move for a guy who was that involved. And I don't know that Fisher needs to do that. I don't think he needs to go that far per se, but I think he has to be willing to listen to new ideas and incorporate those and to give that much influence to whoever his new members are on the staff.
We've talked about this a little bit, how, in the moments, let's say in 2015, 2016, we looked at 2013 and 14 as combined seasons, kind of the same team.
Well, because they won 29 games in a row and they had the same quarterback, yeah.
But, now the distance as it grows in time between then and now, we kind of look at 2014 as attached to the current issues more than it is attached to the championship season, because of the process issues that we saw. The results were in order. We went undefeated in the regular season. We won the ACC title.
Yeah, the results were, but how we got there different.
Right. It was different than the
Very different.
Everything will be different than 2013, but it was even more than was expected.
A little shocking. Well, remember, we went from attitude of domination to appreciate and spell the roses.
Correct. Within a span of 3 months.
Yeah.
So I asked that to ask this question. Does the legacy of the staff that preceded the championship season, as to say Mark Stoops and DJ Elliott and Gran and some of the other guys that were here that were gone by the time we won the title, does their legacy change at all? Does history favor them a little bit more because they were here to help build things just like Jimbo was building things from nothing to a place of championship greatness? I get that Pruitt comes in, but Pruitt is managing as full a cupboard as has ever existed.
And he
here.
did what you needed to do with it.
He did what you needed to do after 4 games, yes. And then they were a little bit spooked in the championship game, but they got by.
Yeah.
But he did what he needed to do there. I mean, is it possible that if we look back at the Fisher era, we weren't giving enough credit to that particular staff for building what they built?
Well, I give him and that staff a ton of credit because they were all part of the transformation without question. And he recognized those guys as people who could come in and upgrade the level of talent, first and foremost, that we had on the roster, which he knew was the very first thing he had to do if he wanted to compete for championships, was get some guys in here that can really recruit their ass off and upgrade talent. And then we'll worry about the other stuff. And if I got to wear myself out, micromanage, and be involved in all aspects, I will, because at least I know that you guys are out there recruiting, and I'm getting some top-tier talent, and I can win with these guys, and we'll change what we are, and we'll change what's possible. And then from there, I'll bring in guys that I trust to delegate a little bit more too. And he did that. He's even done that on this staff, though. Randy, he's delegated to. He's given Randy Sanders the opportunity to call plays, and there were stretches at a time where he was open about that, by the way. That's not a secret. People know that. He admitted to that. He's talked about Randy calling plays. He's not calling plays now, quite clearly. So somewhere along the way, that changed again, and he went back to calling all the plays. I imagine when they, obviously had to change quarterbacks and the situation became a little bit more delicate. But
scheme aside, and I suppose you could look at the ACC and say the ACC is better, so this mitigates some of the numbers. But scheme aside, I mean, that defensive staff did get results. I mean, you look at total defense and advanced metrics adjusted for competition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
before
Pruitt, they were really good. They were top 20, top 10, depending upon what category you were looking at in 12.
But you always knew that there was a game, like you think of that Clemson game where you knew where he's got to put his arm around Mark. Like,
sure.
I know you're not going to get a stop here.
In a sense, though, that happened in the title game, with Pruitt. Again, that with the tempo stuff, we had all kinds of issues with that.
We did. They did adjust for a big stretch there that allows us to get back in the game.
The key of the game is the third down that Marshall misses when he rolls to his right, and they have to kick a field. They choose to kick a field goal there.
Yeah. Or is that?
No, he makes that one, and that's when Kerman returns it.
Yeah.
But just the idea of them not going for the kill there, they could have. They had us dead to rights.
I'll forever, and since we're being nostalgic here for a brief moment, if we're going to remember that game with great fondness, as we all should, we all remember the kick return, and it's almost downright emotional when he breaks that thing. But I would tell you that, to me, the performance is that of Timmy Jernigan, who's as sick as you'll see a guy still able to play in a football game. I mean, puking on the sidelines, trying to will himself back on the field series after series. Yeah, I got you. It's a championship. Guys want to play. But he was really sick. and had a negative reaction to, I think he had gotten a flu shot or
whatever
taken
the
some
meds
sort of
they gave him.
medication.
Yeah.
His body rejected it, and he is fighting dehydration. He's fighting, dry heaves and all of this, and he's out there trying to play. And when he plays, he's good.
Yeah.
Like, he's making plays, but then he's about to fall out after everything. I mean, that is something that's truly special. And when you juxtapose that to what we have going on currently, it sickens you. It infuriates you. And that's what's tough. But the point would be that existed. So, it's in there. The ability to get guys to buy into that level. But we can't get back to that anytime soon until you make these changes. And then the coach, again, has to assess, and he says he will. And for those that trust him to make those decisions and to fix this problem, then you believe that he's going to look not only at all of his coaches and everybody in the athletic department, but also himself. That's what you're trusting. You're believing that he's going to do that.
Man, that Timmy thing. I forgot because in the heat of the moment, you're looking and you're seeing him on the sidelines on a knee.
Where the hell is Timmy?
And you don't know the circumstances. Tim,
I need you on the field.
Get your ass in the game.
You've got to be on the field now.
We've got to stop the dive, Tim. Yeah. We have to stop the dive.
And he's the only guy that can stop the dive. Remember, we're like, that's the guy. He stops the dive. It's what he does. Your dive can go to hell when Timmy Jernigan's in the game. Yeah. I missed that. I missed the dive going to hell. Yeah, the Ocho Loco. I miss all that. Damn it. There's a lot of missing going on.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth. Like a Mahindra XTV 750S as low as $135 a month. Or get up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 3-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Bubbles and Brunch. From 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., get all the mimosas and Bloody Marys you can drink and a breakfast for $18.99. Can you say Uber? Knowles, Bucks, Jags, or Finns, no matter who your favorite team is, take it to 2033 North Monroe Street and watch them at Tallahassee's favorite football hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill.
Have you ever noticed when you report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shops work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050.
Hey pros, from property updates to new construction, Lowe's makes it easy to save during our Ready to Refresh event. Get up to 30% off appliance special values, including great brands like GE. That's up to 30% off washers, dryers, refrigerators, and more. And knock new doors off your list with up to 10% off select in-stock Therma-Tru entry doors. For details, see lowesforpros.com or stop by the Pro Desk at your nearest Lowe's. Appliance offer valid 9/28 through 10/31. Door offer valid 10/23 through 11/3. Selection varies by store, U.S. only.
Redemption Thursday on The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by FranksAutoWorld.com. Ranked by Car Gurus as the best used car dealer in Tallahassee. Check out the best selection of pre-owned vehicles in Tallahassee at FranksAutoWorld.com.
As a Marine serving in Afghanistan, I conducted logistics patrols in some of the world's most dangerous places.
The Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship Program helps U.S. military veterans like Jacob Dietz gain the education and training needed to transition into civilian life.
When I came home, I was ready for a new mission. The Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship is helping me get a degree in electrical engineering. Help a Hero took a load off me and my family.
You can donate to Help a Hero at all participating Sport Clips locations. Just ask your Sport Clips stylist or look for the Help a Hero donation box. And on Veterans Day, November 11th, Sport Clips will donate $1 for every haircut. That's what we call making your cut count.
My name is Jacob Dietz, United States Marine, and I'm saluting you.
Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy. To learn more about the Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship Program, visit sportclips.com.
Sports are defined by stats and performance, but here's a performance stat that no one wants to talk about. Erectile dysfunction affects half of all men over 40. That's 50%. If you're struggling with ED and other therapies haven't worked, isn't it time to feel like yourself again? Learn about a long-lasting ED solution from Coloplast to get you back in the game. Visit Dr. DeLay at Advanced Urology Institute, located at 2000 Centerpoint Boulevard, or call their office and set up an appointment today. 833-4-DRDELAY. That's 833-4, Dr. DeLay. The sooner you seek treatment, the sooner you can get back to feeling like your normal self. That's 833-4, Dr. DeLay.
Proof Brewing Company is Tallahassee's first and largest production craft brewery since 2012. They are locally owned and operated inside Railroad Square Art Park. Visit Proof's expansive brewery, outdoor beer garden, and tasting room with live music on Friday evenings. Proof Brewing Company's award-winning beers 850 and Mango Wit are now available in 6-pack cans. Follow Proof Brewing Company on Facebook or visit online at proofbrewingco.com for more info. Proof Brewing Company reminds you to please drink responsibly.
Sì, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Mike was asking me during the break, are the Bills for real? And so put that on the poll as well, please, Guillermo. Are the Bills for real? What did the Bills do that would suggest to you their realness?
Because they beat the Raiders, a team that we always discussed whether or not they were for real.
What the hell's wrong with the Raiders,
Well,
man?
they're not for real.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I feel like every year there is a moment in which somebody utters either nationally or we do it on this show or somebody tweets it or somebody emails it. Browns just got a clean house. That's an annual thing. You know, I think the Browns are just going to have to clean house. I just don't know, at this juncture, they just probably should start over. Every year. Next year, after they clean house, Browns really should think about starting over here. I just think that they're going to have to start over. They just hired that guy like last week. They got to fire him. I'm already seeing signs. This isn't going to work.
All right, we got A.J. McCarron. Now, Jim, remember, you have to make that call before 4 o'clock. I know that calzone's delicious, but you got to pick up the phone, call the league. and complete the trade.
The Browns thought they had a deal for A.J. McCarron, but they didn't approve it in time. The Browns are the Browns. It's amazing. The Browns not only can't win a football game, writes Mary Kay Cabot, but they dropped the ball on a trade Tuesday for Bengals backup quarterback A.J. McCarron, whom Coach Hugh Jackson had coveted since the offseason. Now, you may want to fire Hugh Jackson for coveting A.J. McCarron. I don't disagree with that. The two clubs agreed to the trade dangerously close to the 4 p.m. deadline, but the Bengals still managed to email their signed paperwork into the NFL on time. The Browns, however, did not. In the heat of the moment, with clubs essentially running a hurry-up offense, the Browns fumbled the deal, said a source. Oh, well done there. The near trade was first reported by ESPN's Adam Schefter. Browns appealed to the NFL. They said, please allow the deal to go through. Our incompetence cannot be held against us. We're the Browns. And the NFL said, rejected. There are rules here, man. Cincinnati.com reported that the Browns had agreed to send a second and third round pick in the 2018 draft for A.J. McCarron. A fifth round pick of the Bengals in 2014 out of Alabama is McCarron. He's not any good. Why were they doing that?
They would pay more for McCarron than San Francisco did for Jimmy Garoppolo.
That's correct. The Browns have 12 selections in the upcoming draft, including 2 first-rounders and 3 second-rounders. The Browns had no immediate comment on the report initially, but they have since gone on to say that it was unfortunate. Didn't work out.
I'll get right to it. This calzone's delicious.
Delicious.
I'll at least send that email. Hang on.
Sources told Cleveland.com that Jackson pushed for the trade because he wanted a veteran on his roster who could not only start and win some games, but could also help mentor Deshaun Kaiser and the other young quarterbacks that are on the roster. Jackson was the offensive coordinator in Cincinnati in 2014 when they drafted A.J. McCarron. He also coached him in 2015.
Wait a minute. You want to spend a second and a third round pick on a mentor? That's a load of BS.
On a mentor for Deshaun Kaiser.
That's what it's worth to you, to have a mentor. How about, you're an offensive coach. How about you mentor the young lad?
Now, I will say this. It also notes that Jackson had lobbied for McCarron in the offseason after it became apparent the Browns were just not going to land Jimmy Garoppolo, who he wanted originally.
You know the theory on that?
I don't.
That Belichick would refuse any offer from
Cleveland. Yeah.
Yes. No. Next call.
But, that's kind of odd because in his book, Education of a Coach by Dave Halberstam, he admits to the mistakes he made in Cleveland. And he really didn't necessarily hold all that against Cleveland. He admitted that he was a jerk.
Well, it's a different ownership group, too.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
I mean,
it's
you
like,
got to let it go, Bill.
You hate the franchise. They're in Baltimore.
Yeah. You got to let it go, Bill. You screwed up. He admitted to mistreating people there.
There was some pushback for New England making the move with Garoppolo, saying you could have gotten more if you put it out there. If it was known around the league circles, more than a second-round pick from the 49ers, which admittedly is probably going to be somewhere between pick 33
and pick 36. In essence, a first-round pick.
Yeah. It's a top 40 pick. Yeah. We can guarantee that at this point.
Yeah.
But some in the northeastern part of the country said, what? That's it? People really want that guy. Like, really, really want that guy.
They do. And then part of that is the Patriots lore, right? I mean, if a guy sticks around for any length of time in New England, they're like, oh, he must be something special. You can tell he's still there. They don't keep guys around who aren't any good. But that's not always true. I mean, didn't people say something similar about Mallett?
So I'm looking up what the price was.
Yeah, I mean, I remember people talking about him, and there have been others that were there that people thought, well, there's something going on with that guy. If Belichick's going to keep him around, and then they go elsewhere, and you're like, no, not really, no. He was backup because he wasn't any good.
I'll tell you what, though, the Texans knew how bad he was because it was a conditional 6th or 7th round pick for Ryan Mallett.
I think what's going to be interesting, and I'm not talking about the NFL necessarily, although it applies both for that league and, of course, our love of college football. You find out that you love football, right, when you're having a season like both the Bucs are and the Noles are. As a follower, a fan, and somebody who covers these things, and talks about them on a regular basis, you find out that you're just a fan of football because you're going to still watch all the big November games in college football, and now you're watching the NFL maybe through a different lens now that the Bucs have given you no reason to be invested in them.
Oh, there's some great games this weekend. In fact, the next 2 weeks, this is when we were talking about it, what was it, mid-October, that the ACC was going to go through a 3-week stretch?
Well, Notre Dame, Miami on November the 11th, Oklahoma State this weekend, Georgia, Auburn on November 11th. That's at Auburn, by the way. Alabama at the end of this month plays Auburn. Mentioned that. Notre Dame, Stanford, Virginia Tech, Miami this weekend, which is a huge game, obviously.
Clemson, NC State at 3:30.
Yeah, it's an awesome game. Ohio State, Michigan late in November, of course, always. TCU and Oklahoma, not this weekend, but next. USF at UCF. Who would have thought? But, yeah, there you go. You got that. Oklahoma State and Iowa State now is suddenly a big deal. Not this weekend, but next.
Yeah, next weekend is the Park Your Ass. I think
Park Your Ass Saturday makes its return. Unfortunately, we would normally be a part of Park Your Ass Saturday on the road at Clemson. That would be the big one. Instead, it's just a side note.
But it starts on Friday next week. Friday night football, 10:30 p.m. if you can stand it. Washington, Stanford at 10:30 p.m.
I will be watching.
Then Saturday, it's us, Clemson. You mentioned a couple of these games. Georgia, Auburn next weekend. Alabama, Mississippi State. That's in Starkville. Then you got Notre Dame, Miami, TCU, Oklahoma State, Iowa State. Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech could be interesting if the Hokies win this weekend because Georgia Tech is good for rising up and beating somebody out of nowhere.
Giving people problems, sure.
And hell, NC State, Boston College. I mean, what if NC State wins this weekend? What if it pulls off the upset over Clemson? Then Adazio is licking his chops to upset NC State.
Syracuse is playing well. They're going to get a win and go over 500 against Florida State in all likelihood. BC just did that. They've won 3 straight, including a win on the road against Louisville and a trouncing of Florida State. What the hell is going on in this division? This is just silly. We should welcome Maryland back. Maybe they'll win it. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. No, I'm early. I'll give you this stat instead. How's this for a filler? I just read it. It's interesting. Lamar Jackson had 6 runs of 40 yards or more during his Heisman-winning season 2016. Arizona's Khalil Tate, the kid I talk about a lot, has had 8 such runs in the month of October.
Oh, my.
Too bad nobody gives a damn about Arizona football, but that is something, huh?
And it's true. Nobody gives a damn.
Nobody. Yeah, no, if you're a gambling guy, these are things you like to know, though. Or gal. Sporting, if you will.
A sporting person.
Now I'm not early. What's our line?
This weekend? I thought I saw.
We opened as a favorite, right?
Yeah, I thought I saw a 5.5.
God,
You want me to pull up the second line?
I get it. I mean, that is weird. Doesn't that strike you as odd when you lose 35-3 as a favorite to Boston College that you would then be favored at all? I mean, that's Vegas saying, come hell or high water, I'm taking Florida State no matter what, even though they've illustrated to me they don't care to play football?
Yeah, it's down to 5. But, hey, man, it's a look-ahead special. We were just looking ahead to the big Syracuse
game. It should
game.
be down to nothing. They ought to be 10-point underdogs. I'll give you the Noles in 10. Damn it.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra Emax 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
At the Home Depot, we know communities are more than bricks and mortar. They're people, and we're part of your community too. So in the wake of Hurricane Irma, we're here to help. We have essential items in the front of the store, making it easy for you to get what you need, quickly. We're doing our best to keep those supplies in stock. And of course, we're maintaining the same everyday low prices. Because when our community needs us, the Home Depot is here to help.
Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20. The only hard part is choosing. First, pick a starter to share. Then pick 2 entrees like grilled shrimp and a steak bowl. All for $20. Beef O'Brady's, where 2 for $20 gets you plenty.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's you, Jamie. Guess where you are right now? The Progressive Service Center in Tamarack, Florida. We've now officially visited every single service center in the country. I know, they all said, don't you want to do something more exciting with your vacation days? Hello? Full service and guaranteed repairs? Sir, can you take my picture next to the claims estimator? Yes, I'm serious.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Service centers not available in all areas. Consumers have a choice of repair facilities.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra Emax 22 as low as $99 a month. Or up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Only from Mahindra.
North Florida and South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT Super Center, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSuperCenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
Hey pros, from property updates to new construction, Lowe's makes it easy to save during our Ready to Refresh event. Get up to 30% off appliance special values, including great brands like GE. That's up to 30% off washers, dryers, refrigerators, and more. And knock new doors off your list with up to 10% off select in-stock Therma-Tru entry doors. For details, see LowesForPros.com or stop by the Pro Desk at your nearest Lowe's. Appliance offer valid 9/28 through 10/31. Door offer valid 10/23 through 11/3. Selection varies by store, U.S. only.
At Whole Foods Market, we believe in real food. Food that's full of nutrients. Naturally vivid and colorful, fresh and delicious. Food that connects you to your body, to the seasons, and to the natural world. We believe food should nourish you and help you think. It should help you feel calm, clear-headed, and strong. It should help you do more, sleep better, and wake up happier. That's food that lives up to its name. We believe in real food. Whole Foods Market.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm John Brickley. The Dodgers 3-1 win last night against the Astros, pushing the World Series to the brink. A Game 7 tonight at Dodger Stadium for the first time in the ballpark's history, meaning all hands on deck. And something's got to give tonight. The 39th all-time winner-take-all game in World Series history. The road team has won 19. The home team has won 19. Covered 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Lance McCullers Jr., Yu Darvish are the starters. NFL, Tom Brady's backup has arrived once again with the Patriots reportedly agreeing on a 3-year contract with Brian Hoyer. Broncos have lost 3 straight. Vance Joseph electing to make a switch at quarterback. Brock Osweiler is in. Trevor Siemian is out as Osweiler will start against the Eagles. Duke is number 1 in the AP preseason college basketball poll for the 2nd straight year and 9th time in program history, tying rival North Carolina for the most all-time. NBA, 8 Eastern on ESPN. Knicks play host to the Rockets.
The Nissan Heisman House is back. Rush over to NissanHeismanHouse.com to enter for a chance to win a new Nissan Titan. No purchase necessary. Ends December 8th, 2017. Open to residents of the USDC, 18 or older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it, and a fine Ballsmic Wednesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything, but if you do, all 3 hours are going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. That's a good thing. Yeah. Don't miss it. If you do, that's where it'll be. You can email the show if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Twitter at J Cameron Show, WTSM app. That's another good thing. And also, we're on YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. Hey, before I get going, because I'll forget, and it's just an injustice to our wonderful sponsor. It's State Worker Wednesday. Tom, were you aware of this?
Count them
up, lead
up,
with it.
Pour them out.
I'll just have a cup of coffee.
There it is. It's Beer 30, brought to you by the 7th Hill Tap Room on Appalachia Parkway.
Well, we're all in need of a beer right now, and there is a Game 7 to be played tonight. I'm going to mention it in a moment, but you make your way on over to that 7th Hill Tap Room. We'll have environs that are going to meet your liking. People are good there, and it's State Worker Wednesday, Tom.
That's right. So if you're a state worker or a teacher, you get those happy hour specials for the entirety of
the World Series. Yeah.
However long they're open tonight, probably
hours.
to the end of the wee hours in the World Series. And if you're a Cup Club member, well, then you're good from 7 p.m. to close, my man, with $1 off, or lady, all drafts all night long, 7 p.m. to close.
So listen, if you're a non-state worker, you better get that cup.
You're damn right.
Get your cup.
Or get you somebody who is a state worker to go get you, a crowler or two at 8 p.m.
There's also that. All right. Well, each of these hours, it's weird not to be able to just launch right into angles that involve strategy and the importance of doing various things to win said football game Saturday. But that's not where we're at now. No, not where we're at all. Luckily, we have immense distractions that we can all embrace and would be even if we were a good football team, and that includes Game 7 of the World Series tonight. Boom!
Yes, last night's game was quite compelling, even though it wasn't the home run fest of the game prior.
We've had a little bit of everything in this World Series, and it's why you kind of think, man, we deserve this. We deserve a good Game 7 as fans. Those two teams deserve it. They've been great. This is back-to-back World Series. Think about Cleveland-Chicago last year with all the drama and what we had there in Game 7. It was crazy, and the home run to tie it and go to extra innings, and the Cubs in the curse. And now this has been the two best teams in baseball, both with over 100 wins. We wanted them to meet. They did meet. They're playing a good brand of baseball. It's had drama. It's had good pitching. It's had great hitting. It's had a little bit of everything where we could second-guess managers, and we could – just play along with the personalities of each of these teams because they have so many dynamic players, young players that'll help carry the game. You have some guys on both squads that no doubt will end up in the Hall of Fame. I mean, if you think about Clayton Kershaw, obviously headed to the Hall of Fame, and Verlander with a good shot too as well, and these kinds of players. It's just Yes, this is what you need.
Yeah, to me, if I'm a fan of either the Dodgers or the Astros tonight, though, I'm biting my nails, not just because it's Game 7 and not just because it's for the World Series.
Well, everything's on the table, man. Everything. You could pull a guy after 10 pitches. You're like, he's a little off. I didn't get time for this.
Well, exactly right. but if you told me that my pitching staff has given up 6 to 8 runs tonight, I would believe it if I'm a fan of either of those two teams, just because of the way this series has gone, and now Verlander's out of the rotation, so to speak, and obviously, Kershaw, if he comes in tonight for the Dodgers, he's going to come in out of the bullpen, and for how long, who knows? And that bullpen is taxed anyway for the Dodgers, and the Astros bullpen already stinks. So, is Dallas Keuchel going to be available tonight? The answer is probably yes, I would think. But there's just so many questions about the pitching staffs.
Literally everybody's available tonight, save for Verlander, obviously, or something.
The race to we play for college football. But I don't know that 7 or 8 runs is safe tonight. I think you might have another slugfest tonight.
Maybe, except for last night, they didn't think the ball could leave the yard because of the way it was playing, which was the antithesis of the way it played when it was 147 degrees in the first 2 games of the series. And the Astros just simply don't hit on the road. They just don't score. So I don't know.
We'll see.
Maybe. But, they're doing
Darvish looked like ass in his,
Oh, yeah. Heaping helping of it.
If you need to go to the bullpen for 7 innings tonight if you're the Dodgers, you know what I mean? It just could all tack on at some point here, and we might get into a back-and-forth affair.
The Dolphins traded Jay Ajayi. And I always say Ajayi, and then I go Ajayi because I realize I didn't say it right. Anyhow, that said, he's celebrating. He goes from the sorry-ass Dolphins to the Eagles. Oh, what a glorious day to wake up and be Jay Ajayi, right?
Well, if you're looking for wear and tear points to get to that next contract, he's got LeGarrette Blount, so you don't even have to be the feature back.
You don't have to be the guy. You're only averaging just over 3 yards per carry this year, down from nearly 5 a year ago. Your team stinks. It's a lost season. Now you go to arguably the best team in the NFL. Oh, happy day.
And that was supposedly, and for the Dolphins' purposes, it was, but a message sent that if you don't want to be here, you're gone.
The message is that if you don't want to be here, we'll trade you to one of the best teams in all of football. So please, by all means, pout away. That's the message. If I'm his agent or I'm him, I'm like, oh, so the message is if I sit here and sulk and don't run real hard, you'll trade me to a good team? I'm in. I like that message. How would you like to be Kelvin Benjamin? At least, the message he gets sent is, hey, good luck to you. Enjoy the Buffalo winter. You're from South Florida. It'll be fun there when you start playing games in December. That sucks.
Wasn't it Marshawn Lynch who got off the plane and said, where are all the buildings?
Yeah.
Because he thought Buffalo was like
he thought
New
it was
York,
New York City.
New York.
Yeah, he's not.
It's like, well, this is Canada. Oh.
He went, this is freezing.
Well,
I don't know about all this here. Yeah.
They kind of embraced it, though, because the Pacific Northwest is, chilly in its own right. That's the kind of damp cool that'll go right through your layers.
But I enjoy, I would love being traded from a but-sorry team to one that is 7-1 or whatever the Eagles are. Yeah, I'm in. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to celebrate that moment. Thanks for my punishment, Miami.
Are the Eagles the best team in football?
I still like Kansas City more right now.
If you said yes, my second question was going to be, but are they the prohibitive Super Bowl favorite? Not this year. This season's crazy.
It is a weird year, and one of the things that you do like about the NFL, other than if you're a Bucs fan, you're not, you're kind of irrelevant. But I would say that you like the unpredictability here. Even when you get bad football, you hope to have some level of intrigue and drama. And there has been a lot of bad football, but there is intrigue and drama because the Patriots aren't the Patriots like they usually are, and all of the teams that you would point to as perhaps the best team are eminently beatable. Kansas City's included in that list. Philadelphia is included in that list. Obviously, New England is, Pittsburgh. These teams, you don't feel like they're rock solid. Nobody is the prohibitive favorite right now where you would say that team is going to be very difficult to beat. I think that all of these teams, given the right matchup, are vulnerable.
Okay, an indoor neutral site game between the Eagles and the Saints. Who you got? Indoor neutral site.
Probably the Eagles. A little bit more.
It's a good game, though, right?
It is a good game.
And the Saints were dead and buried after week 2.
And then, it's the weirdest thing. When you watch teams and win, like literally win, not just, hey, when you watch a game. When you see them matters. I saw them the third game, and then I saw the first half of the fourth game, and I went, the Saints don't look like the team that started the year. And I remember coming in and talking to you about, man, I think the Saints are going to be a bit of a problem. And it was just that I happened to be watching that team, and the way Mark Ingram was running, noticing that Kamara is a real weapon to complement Ingram. Obviously, you already knew about Michael Thomas. Everybody did. But Ted Ginn was playing well. Their defense, I know they've had lapses, and everybody will point to the Detroit game. That was a really weird game. But they're turning people over. Drew Brees looks as good as ever. They believe in the system they're running. I didn't think they'd win 5 straight games. It's going to be 6 after they beat the Bucs this weekend. But I thought they looked like a team that could be a problem in the division, and I was paying close attention to them because we're in the NFC South. And all of a sudden, the Saints kind of look like the team to beat in the NFC South.
They do, but I think this is a really interesting weekend for the Bucs if in fact Jameis is healthy enough to play and play well because of this reason.
Well, he's going to play, we think, but he is not healthy, that we know.
Consider the 5-game winning streak here. We'll put the New Orleans offense aside and say that it's good. All right, understood. But you're playing the Panthers when Cam was awful. You played the Dolphins over in London when the Dolphins were an absolute Jay Cutler mess. You played the Lions. You gave up 38 points, and some of that's garbage time, but it got close there, a little dicey in the second half. You played the Packers without Aaron Rodgers, and then you play the Bears with Trubisky. So, I mean, really, what have they proven on defense in those 5 weeks? If Tampa's healthy, if Winston is healthy with those weapons on a track, I'd just be interested to see what the yards per play numbers are and how it looks in the flow, if that defense really is that much improved or if they've just been playing a bunch of patsies with or without their star players and quarterbacks.
Fun in the weeks to come to see exactly what that team is. They are vastly improved, that I know. How good are they? That's up for debate. Georgia's good, so's Alabama. It's not surprising that those two are 1-2 in the first college football playoff rankings. Georgia has 2 wins against current AP top 25 teams, if you will. One of those is on the road at Notre Dame, which now looks like a great win more and more with each passing week. They also did it to Mississippi State. Alabama has 0 such wins in the category. So if you're wondering why it was that Georgia was viewed as the number 1 team in the land, it's because they have 2 wins of note, of significance on the road. Whereas Alabama, you would have thought the win against Florida State would have been a significant bump, at least in terms of strength of schedule. Instead, it's hurting them. At this point, that win doesn't mean all that much, unfortunately, for Alabama. But it really doesn't matter because they're going to play each other in the SEC championship game, and this will be a moot point. What gets more interesting is what happens to the loser of that football game, and where are the other combatants at that point, and whose resume matches up in that way when you have a non-conference champion but a weighty schedule and record and success rate against a team that is a conference champion but hasn't played as good a schedule and you don't believe from a talent standpoint is worthy. But, this is where potentially the debate is fun.
Sure. Well, and for Georgia and Alabama, the funny thing is by the time they play Auburn, it's likely a freebie game for the both of them against Auburn. If they lose it, they're still going to represent their side of the SEC in the SEC title game. But they both do play Auburn, a common opponent, to learn more about what those teams are going to look like when they play each other, if and when they play each other in Atlanta. But there is no doubt that Notre Dame was rooting for Georgia to win the SEC title at this point. So that way Alabama could potentially fall below Notre Dame instead of looking at, Georgia versus Notre Dame resumes. Which one are we going to take?
Yeah, it's a murky picture right now, and right now is what the committee loves to look at, right? They'll tell you, we don't look at future games. We're not worried about how the schedules are playing out. We're telling you what we've seen up to this point. And so if you just take those one-loss teams, Tom, which is fun to do, Notre Dame has wins over top 25 teams in Michigan State, Southern Cal, NC State, in which really they beat up on those teams. I mean, they beat them since, and their only loss is a 1-point loss to Georgia. So, that's it. And that team is currently number 1.
Well, they still have Miami and Stanford both, I believe, Stanford as well, but Miami on the schedule next week.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, Notre Dame's schedule, they're going to get in if they keep winning. I mean,
it's
this is
good
absurd.
Enough to be.
Oh, they're in.
It can transcend the fact that they don't play a conference championship
I
game.
think so. I think that would be the case. Yeah, you'd be talking about that'd be 6 wins over top 25 teams, and your lone loss is a 1-point loss to the team that currently sits at number 1. Yeah, I mean, Jesus.
Which is why Clemson at 1 loss is where it is as well, because it had to go through that brutal 3-week stretch, and they manhandled everybody in front of them.
Yeah, but now the Louisville win doesn't look like it's impressive in any way, shape, or form.
Agreed.
And suddenly, it'd be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, well, this weekend's really interesting for Clemson.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ohio State now has just the one win over a top 25 team against Penn State, thrilling fashion, 39-38. Their one loss is at home, and it was to Oklahoma. And so we'll have to do a whole lot of waiting and seeing with Ohio State. Oklahoma has that win over Ohio State, but then a loss to Iowa State, which actually now doesn't look nearly as bad as it did in the moment because Iowa State just keeps on winning football games, including the one over TCU, who was undefeated most recently. What about this season for Iowa State? What in the world? Clemson, meanwhile, of course, has beaten Auburn and Virginia Tech, but does have a what you consider to be a pretty bad loss to Syracuse. Now, let's see what Syracuse becomes. If they get a win this weekend against Florida State, they're over 500. They keep that momentum rolling. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's not nearly that bad of a loss compared to what you think Syracuse is, and with Clemson's quarterback going down. I mean, listen, they can't lose again. They can't lose again, but if they win out from here through the end of the ACC title game, I think the indication from last night is that Clemson's resume will be good enough to carry the day, seeing as
yes, it will be. Yeah.
Virginia Tech or Miami that's going to be in a top 15 position in all likelihood playing them in the ACC title game.
Yeah, and Virginia Tech hasn't played a top 25 team. This will be the first team they play this year that has
outside of Clemson.
Oh, well, they lost that game.
Right.
I should say they don't have a win.
Correct.
Yeah, I know. You're right. No, I mean, they don't have a win over a top 25 team.
Also should be noted for, those checking into the actual national college football playoff discussion rather than our college football playoff discussion this year.
Unfortunately, that's kind of where we're at, yeah.
There's a Big 12 title game this year. There is a Big 12 title game this year. That is new, and so you don't have to worry about a one-loss code champion here or there. The Big 12 will declare a champion, and that champion will have an extra chance to boost its resume with likely a top 10 or a top 15 victory as well.
Yeah, and I'm curious. I don't want to make the mistake that I make every time, or that a lot of people make, is that we get all in, we're invested now, and there is so much more to play out, including big games this weekend and next weekend and the weekend after that. And one of those weekends we've already declared will indeed be a celebratory Park Your Ass Saturday. And unfortunately, that weekend is the 11th of November, and we're playing Clemson, and we should have been part of the larger discussion as to why, indeed, it is a Park Your Ass Saturday, but instead it's an afterthought.
Hammered right after the game.
Boom. Wouldn't it be funny if we won that game?
Put everything together for one weekend?
One weekend and just spoil the season for Clemson?
It would be fun, and then on Monday you'd be more angry. But you'd be happy on Saturday.
Yeah, I just don't know what I would think. I'd think because I have a hard time. Well, I mean, just how invested – I want to talk about this in a moment. How invested those players are at Clemson, how invested those players are at Alabama, and I haven't really seen – I don't know Ohio State's situation. Obviously, they played really hard on Saturday in the fourth quarter. They had a comeback for the record books that they'll be talking about, where their quarterback goes nuts and throws 3 touchdowns in the fourth and all of that stuff. So clearly they're invested. But when you get samples, when you get a glimpse, and you are in fact dysfunctional, it's almost like being a part of a dysfunctional family and then being invited over to little Jimmy's house and seeing how wonderful their situation
is. It's awfully quiet here.
Everybody seems happy, and I've been offered up food and a ride to the mall.
Been waiting for the punchline, and there's no punchline forthcoming.
Yeah, I mean, it's I got a glimpse of that yesterday and again this morning, and so yeah, I'm gonna bring it up to you because I don't know if you've seen it. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Wednesday at the Corner Pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. He's gone! Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Noel fans, ESPN Tallahassee's official home for FSU watch parties in 2017 is Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway.
Francois to throw for the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown. Seminoles are going for the win.
The ESPN Tallahassee team will be on hand for every Seminole away football game with giveaways, a chance to win some great prizes, and to have a good time.
To the pylon, he's into the end zone for an FSU touchdown.
So, when the Noles hit the road, join us at Miller's Ale House on the Parkway, the official FSU watch party headquarters of your home of the best in Seminole sports talk. 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee Sports Authority.
Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20. The only hard part is choosing. First, pick a starter to share. Then pick 2 entrees like grilled shrimp and a steak bowl. All for $20. Beef O'Brady's, where 2 for $20 gets you plenty.
Hey folks, Ron Vitrano here with great news for North Florida and South Georgia used car, truck, and SUV buyers. Car Gurus has named its top-rated used car dealer for 2017, Frank's Auto World on West Tennessee Street. Car Gurus rates each used vehicle for sale based on price and rates it as bad, fair, or a good deal. Who's the most good deals? FranksAutoWorld.com. Think I'm kidding? Type in FranksAutoWorld.com on your smartphone, iPad, or desktop. Get multiple pictures and even a free Carfax of each vehicle and a rating by Car Gurus showing you the price is a good deal. FranksAutoWorld.com.
As a Marine serving in Afghanistan, I conducted logistics patrols in some of the world's most dangerous places.
The Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship Program helps U.S. military veterans like Jacob Dietz gain the education and training needed to transition into civilian life.
When I came home, I was ready for a new mission. The Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship is helping me get a degree in electrical engineering. Help a Hero took a load off me and my family.
You can donate to Help a Hero at all participating Sport Clips locations. Just ask your Sport Clips stylist or look for the Help a Hero donation box. And on Veterans Day, November 11th, Sport Clips will donate $1 for every haircut. That's what we call making your cut count.
My name is Jacob Dietz, United States Marine, and I'm saluting you.
Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy. To learn more about the Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship Program, visit sportclips.com.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra E-Max 22 as low as $99 a month, or up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Only from Mahindra.
North Florida and South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT Super Center, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSupercenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
97.9 ESPN Radio would like to congratulate Rickard's Nydia Donaldson, November's female winner of the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac High School Scholar Athlete of the Month. Nydia Donaldson is a member of the Advancement via Individual Determination AVID College Preparatory Program, National Honor Society, and Green Dot Youth Program for Bullying Prevention. Nydia serves as captain for the Lady Raiders volleyball team, leading them to the regional playoffs for the first time in over 5 years. She's an outstanding student, maintaining a 4.0 grade point average while taking challenging advanced placement and honors courses while being dual enrolled at Florida A&M University. As the November female winner of the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac High School Scholar Athlete of the Month, Rickard's Nydia Donaldson is now qualified as a finalist for the Dale Jr. $2,500 End of the Year Scholarship. To help support our friends at Dale Jr., check them out on the corner of Capitol Circle Northeast and Miccosukee or by visiting online at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac.com.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. I don't know if you saw both of these instances, but it got me thinking, and maybe we're inclined to do so now, ponder the bigger issues and think about the long-term implications of some of the things we see throughout college football and how they apply not only to those programs, but how they apply and compare to the situation within our own program at Florida State. And so it is that I got slightly depressed yesterday and today and seeing these two clips. It's not to say that it doesn't happen here, but right now it doesn't certainly feel like things are touchy-feely friendly, or maybe that's part of the bigger issue, right, is that there is a disconnect that we continue to cite. But did you see, Tom, I don't know if you saw Nick Saban, who's often described, of course, as this tyrannical figure, right? It's his way or the highway, which is certainly true that it's his way or the highway. But I'm telling you, over the years, in talking to either former players of his, former coaches like Jimbo Fisher or Lawrence Dawsey, who coached with him, and then also I have a friend that works side by side with Nick Saban and used to be here at Florida State. Anyhow, a lot of people who know me remember him and know him too. So the point would be this. They all like him. They all love him. They say he's hard driving, difficult, demands an intense work ethic, and you got to be good or you're gone. But there's nothing wrong with that. Not when you are a very successful CEO of any kind. That's pretty much the way it works in the real world. So if he were this thing, that this singular thing where all he cared about were football and not the feelings and lives of his players and friends and family, then things like yesterday wouldn't happen, which is that Nick Saban turned 66, and you'll hear from the clip that in the middle of a team meeting, a player, defensive back, decides to stand up and wish him a very happy birthday.
Interrupts him
In the meeting, much to his surprise, and this is what you hear.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Coach Saban. Happy birthday to you.
And he walks over and hugs the player, and everybody, as you can hear, they're tweeting and hooting and hollering, and they don the hats, and everybody's smiling, including Nick Saban. And you see the footage, and you say, "There's a group of guys that loves the hell out of Nick Saban." And seemingly there's a heart there, and that they all recognize. And I thought, okay, well, isn't that nice? You know, I'm so used to hearing outwork yesterday and all that other stuff from him, and yet there
you're
they
a
are.
loser.
Yeah. And then Dabo Swinney is in the midst of a team meeting on the last day of October, like he points out with passion. It's the last day of October, like it's some sort of special day beyond Halloween. And they play a prank on him, and everybody laughs, and it's uproarious, and they're all giggling and carrying on. This is what that sounded like.
Huge day, last day of October. All right, happy Halloween, all you guys. All right, so don't get ooh. Hey, I don't know.
And he laughs, and his assistant coaches laugh, and the players laughed. And what happened there, since you can't see it, is the lights got turned off, and there was a guy hiding behind the curtain in a scary outfit. He'd been sitting there for 30 minutes knowing this meeting was going to take place. And then when Sweeney's almost done with his talking points about it's the last day of October and happy Halloween to all you guys.
Last day of October.
By the way, I do like the happy Halloween to all you guys. Touch involved in that there. And then, boom, they scare him and they laugh. And I just thought, man, look, obviously those are two very successful programs, two very successful coaches, and they have two very different styles. But what they have done is engender support and love and passion and togetherness with their players. And that is evident in these two clips. It's on display, at the very least, in these two clips. Can they be difficult? Are they oftentimes, I'm sure, hard to stomach in practice or over the top in meeting rooms? Yeah, all coaches are. I'm not saying that's not part of it either, but there's also clearly this side, and it's engendered this connection. And you can watch this footage, and you see there's a genuine love and camaraderie there. And from what you hear, what's going on here right now, that's certainly just not the case. And you don't need my opinion of that. You just hear it. Pew saying it yesterday, that every man is for himself, that guys they got their own agendas. You hear about the problems where the inconsistencies at practice, and we watch the actual games. There's no passion there. There's no love of teammate and program and family, if you will.
But what's crazy is we're not that far removed from it. We're really not.
No, we're not. But that's where we've arrived at so soon, so quickly, that it's spiraled to this. And it scares the hell out of me. More than the losses right now. The losses, I'm starting to understand that this year's a wash. There's really, you're going to have to just blow this out of the system and move on. And whatever happens Saturday against Syracuse and on the road against Clemson and the remainder of the year, you have to try not to let that affect you beyond the way it already has, which is to say you're angry, well, you're going to still be angry. You're sad, you're still going to be sad after each loss. You're frustrated, well, you're still going to be frustrated. But to the degree that you are, it really can't get any worse. This season has illustrated for you that in no uncertain terms, this is a complete failure, as Jimbo called it, from the top himself on down. That's not changing, whether we beat Syracuse or lose to Syracuse, whether we keep it close against Clemson or get blown out against Clemson. Whatever it is, this is an unmitigated disaster and has to be fixed. Everybody's got their head around that. But, man, when you see that disconnect and when players aren't playing for a coach and they're not listening to the message and they're not buying in and they're not fighting for those inches, as he likes to talk about, and then you see what's on display at these places with whom you're trying to compete, those are the people you got to recruit against, and those are the people you got to beat.
Yeah, it's not just about buildings, and it's not just about miniature golf and laser tag.
Right.
It's about moments like that, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And damn it, man, I really do worry that we're not going to get that back, or that we don't have it, period. And maybe never really did, at least between coaches and players. I don't know. I'm not in that locker room. I know Jameis loves Jimbo Fisher. I know that a lot of those players from the 2013 team did. Maybe this all went south. It certainly seems logical to conclude now that this all went south in 2014 when things were allowed to slide, players half-stepping, allowed to play, sending the wrong message, creating a negative culture and a sense of people who are starters being allowed to do whatever they want to do. I got you. That was our concern in 2014 when it was happening.
Sure.
When we said that if you allow guys to go out there going through the motions, perhaps trying to protect their pro careers, you're sending a bad message. Now, we didn't know, perhaps, that it would lead to this, to where we are. And maybe it was just the start of the catalyst for all of this. Maybe there are lingering issues between coaches. There certainly seems to be.
Yeah, but consider this, too. The couple of bits of evidence that you had early in 2014, which was, number one, Jimbo wanted to check his notes to see what the hell was wrong with practice. What was not games, not even half-stepping through games.
And I brought it up after that very first comment that he made. I mean, we went on the air. We can go back and listen to that tape. And I said, that's concerning. That's weird. Why is he having to check? I asked him the question in the press conference.
Yes. Yeah.
I asked him specifically on the record with all the other reporters there. Is that normal? Why, what does it concern you? You had to go back and check notes to see if you had these same concerns from a year ago?
Right. And then there was also Jalen Ramsey after week 1 saying that guys aren't practicing hard.
Yes. And here we are.
Sounds like kind of like Tampa Bay a little bit.
Yeah, so fast forward 3 years, and this is what you have. Now, I don't know. Saturday will tell us something, and we're going to do the pregame show, and we're going to watch the games, and we're going to have all our normal discussions about these games.
It's not a 9:20 a.m. pregame show. We'll just do 9 to 11, for this 12:20 kick for people out there. We're not going to stick hard and fast to the 3 hours here.
All right, but let me say this. Saturday will tell us something, because I do believe, and I'll continue to say this, that while this season is shot and there's a lot to be angry about and shake your fist at and be concerned with, how you lose remaining games that you do lose matters to me. Because there are teams that have bad seasons. Even that Notre Dame team a year ago that went 4-8. Go back and look. They played hard every week. They had a lot of one-possession losses. Now, it's not acceptable to go 4-8, and he still recognized that there are major overhauls necessary. But they were playing hard. They weren't getting beat 35-3 by Boston College. They were competing. They just weren't winning. And it was enough for him to make those changes. That 35-3 against BC, inexcusable on by anybody's scale. That nobody, no matter the most ardent supporter or detractor, we're all on the same page here. That can never happen, and it did. And if it's an indicator of what's going to happen Saturday, and again on the road against Clemson, and at the end of the year against Florida, Well, I do think the way that people align themselves with Jimbo Fisher currently and the way they feel about him will be affected in a way that I don't know that long-term he'll be able to come back from.
Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe not. We have a debate about that. You say wins cure all, and I think a lot of times that's true. If he gutted the coaching staff, fired every single coach on this staff, which he may very well do, and you bring in all new voices and somehow you rekindle the magic and you go out next year and you win 11 games, even with lesser tier players because you lose so many of these stars on defense. Mm-hmm. And yes, it'll make it easier to stomach what happened this year, and maybe you'll forget about these moments, these conversations, and those times that you watched games and you saw guys not giving effort and thought to yourself, what are we doing here? Maybe it will. Maybe.
Well, I'm saying that now that's not necessarily what I'm saying. The nuance to that is the next time it happens is the last time it's likely going to happen. But the question is, how much equity can he build up with the new coaching staff when he hits the reboot button? We're not that far removed from him walking arm in arm off the field with Devonta Freeman and Brian Stork coming back during a bye week to help Austin Barron out with his snapping troubles.
Agreed. I'm not saying that they've never gotten along. I'm not saying that there's never been a closeness. But I am saying I think that began to wane in 2014, and it's all but gone, save for a couple of individuals with this team and their coaching staff. And it's yet another reason that you have to let all these guys go.
Yeah, here's what I would agree with you with. Dalvin is probably the lone exception, maybe DeMarcus Walker, maybe. But, I mean, you look back at people that come to campus even now or come to games and they're here on Saturdays when they have their bye week at the pro level. It's Jameis, it's Devonta, Xavier Rhodes has been here. Chris Thompson was in the locker room of the national championship game, and now he's quite busy kicking ass, taking names on Sunday. Brian Stork came back. After that, I mean, you're looking at guys from the early times here,
right?
When he was first here.
That's right, and he knows that because listen to when he interrupts me in the interview. I don't mean that negatively. I don't care that he interrupted me.
He's talking on the phone with Telvin when he gets his contract extension.
That's right. So when I'm talking to Coach Fisher and I say, Coach, in the past, we've seen you interacting with players and, who's that guy in the locker room now? Or who are those players in the locker room now? Like a Jameis, like a Telvin, like a LaMarcus Joyner. And he interrupts in that moment, and I'm paraphrasing. He goes, now, you're talking about some special guys now. You're talking about some of the all-time great guys to ever come through here. Now, it was like he was longing for what we're all longing for. Players like that who put the onus on themselves and demanded it of the other players. What he's revealing in that moment to me is that he does not have that right now. He doesn't have that guy. I mean, when he's listing the guys that are kind of like that, the closest he comes is Jacques Patrick, which is now weird that he might play this weekend. But anyhow, the point is, that was about the closest he came to naming anybody that was sort of like that.
Yeah, maybe Tate too, eventually, because he got to Auden way down the line.
Yeah, but he admires Auden.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, maybe Auden Tate, but he admires
but
his
toughness. But it wasn't
toughness.
Derwin. It wasn't,
It wasn't, no. And he had to think, well, Izzo, plays hard, but he's not vocal. And, well, he's just really struggling to even think of a guy. And on those teams, certainly you could find numerous guys. And it was all about the fact that they took ownership of their season, their careers. And he begs for players to do that. They haven't. They aren't, and not if they're getting beat 35-3.
As I point out every time we talk about Jameis's career and the leadership that he exhibited here in Tallahassee, the Clemson speech, he's off to the side of the meeting. Mm-hmm. Up front is Wilder and Telvin and Timmy Jernigan.
He knew when to cede the floor, to kind of give up.
Right, and he knew who was at the head of the meeting.
And he knew also when it's my turn now to come in here, either loosen things up, have a little fun with this, add my own little touch of leadership to what we already have with the guys that are upperclassmen and the true, yes, without question. And remember, Jimbo told me the story that, if you didn't show up for volunteer workouts, I mean, there was a knock at your door. There were some guys who wanted to know why you weren't there and whether or not that was valid, and it wouldn't happen again, and everybody was held accountable, and he can't find that right now. Those guys aren't doing that, but that's because they're not buying into the message. They don't believe anymore. Those guys believed in what they were being told and the methodologies and the way that you are going about things. I promise you, nobody, no matter how angry people are at this coaching staff, and believe me, I think it's legitimate to be angry, nobody is in practice teaching guys some of the techniques we're seeing on Saturdays and Friday. Well, Friday night, this last game. You're not, I promise you, nobody is that incompetent to have two linebackers in the same gap, to have two guys. That's just not happening. They're teaching it the right way. I'm sure of it. The players aren't listening to it, and they're doing their own thing. And that's a complete shutting out of the principles of what you're being taught and those that are leading your segments.
Well, and they're still rolling out there with those,
and they're still
with those
allowed
players.
to play.
Correct.
Right. And I'm curious. I really don't have an answer. This is a rhetorical question, I suppose. When he puts on the film and he sees that happen, and he sees certain guys, not all the guys fall into this category, but when he sees certain guys not giving effort or giving effort on this play, not so much here. What does he think? Why wouldn't you at that moment say, no? This is a guy who understood the importance of monitoring effort for a variety of reasons every day in practice with the GPS and all the stuff that we heard about. He wanted to know, is this guy tired? Does he need a break? Is this guy not trying hard? Hey, man, we're tracking you. You were half-assing yesterday. You can do better. We got to get more out of you. This is the stuff we read about, heard about, and thought was, state of the art, and it was awesome. Well, is that happening now when guys are half-assing in practice or not playing hard in games?
Hell, isn't it fair at this point, just judging by everything that you guys talked about on headlines and the between-the-lines stuff, maybe even in the coaching meeting, when a directive's handed down, there isn't a belief in the same way that there was
I don't
not
think
a belief.
There's any question.
Yes.
I don't think there's any question. Because you keep hearing all the things. Listen, Front Row Knowles is going to be coming up here soon, and I don't think they're going to address it. I don't know. But between this show and that show and the people that write for the websites and the people that cover for the Democrat and the people that really are trying to gain and garner information to help explain this kind of collapse, all of us have heard the various rumors, some of them very much the same from disparate sources who don't know each other, about coaches having a problem with one another. Maybe even a couple times where it might have got physical or people had to be separated at the very least,
Aggressively verbal.
Yes.
At the worst.
At the worst, right. Things that just can't happen.
Or at the least.
Yeah, definitely at the least.
Yeah.
Things that just can't happen and don't happen when things are operating the way that they should and chain of command is in place and people understand the directives and they respect who's giving them. No. Got
to pull the cartridge out of the machine, put it back in, hit the power button, reboot it.
I think you do, and I think now I would say that no coach is safe on the staff. Not anybody. Not a single one. Come back, wrap it up. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9, ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth. Like a Mahindra XTV 750S as low as $135 a month. Or get up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 3-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my your truck always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Once again, all of you with stellar credit ratings, congratulations. And this message is not for you. All year I've been talking about our New For You program to assist good people with dings in their credit. And just last week, a friend of mine came into my office worried about his own credit rating. But thanks to our New For You program, you guessed it, he drove away in a brand new Nissan Altima. We are proud of the fact that we have helped hundreds of people that were previously limited shopping little used car lots where they overpaid, got huge finance charges, and had very few choices on cars to purchase. Some of those lots may actually hurt your credit more than they could ever help. So remember, credit score under 600? Come on in. Recent bankruptcy? Come on in. Recently divorced? Come on in. Think you have a financial problem we've never heard of? Come on in to Kraft Nissan. And come see the one dealer in Tallahassee that can really help you out. Come see the cars that everyone wants at the hottest dealer in town, Kraft Nissan. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco, or visit us on the web at craftnissan.com.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Tonight, yeah. Game 7. I think you know what I'm segueing towards there, T. Lizzie. Make it happen, baby.
Ready for a cold one?
Yep.
Proof Brewing Company in Railroad Square Art Park presents What's on Tap. So, Jeff, what'll it be?
World Series Game 7. Our thanks to Proof Brewing Company since 2007, offering Tallahassee's finest craft beer selections at their massive tap room in Railroad Square Art Park and canned deliciousness in stores near you. This will be the 39th World Series winner-take-all game all time. Home team is 19-19 in the previous 38.
Wow.
I've said for years, home field advantage doesn't typically matter in baseball. Your next day's pitcher does. However, this has been a weird series in that clearly Houston is a different team in Houston, and the Dodgers are a different team in L.A.
With that said, though, this really sets up to be another 7-5, 8-6 type game with the two guys that are going in the way they looked previous in the series.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. This is, by the way, and think about how fortunate we are. We've been wanting this. We talked about before the playoffs began. You'd like to see teams play up to the kind of regular season they had. You know, I always, if my team's not in it, what I want are the teams that have been the best teams in baseball to square off. This will be just the third winner-take-all World Series game between 100-win teams. The first since 1931.
Wow.
Cardinals beat the Phillies that year, or they were the Athletics back then. But, yeah, 1931, the Athletics beat the the Cardinals won. In 1912, the Red Sox beat the Giants.
That's a crazy footnote because the wild card era is relatively new in the history of the game of baseball.
Yeah.
So you would think if it's just, a championship series, that would feature more 100-win teams than not.
It's hard to win 100 games, first of all. Secondly, to have both teams get through just doesn't happen.
Even when it was one best of 7 that you had to get through when you won 100 games in the regular season.
Yeah, well, think about that Seattle team. Again, didn't even make the World Series, won 114, 116 games, whatever it was. I mean, didn't even get to the damn World Series. Got knocked out by the White Sox. Yeah. Astros, Dodgers, 2017. Last one, 1931. That is remarkable. How cool is that? And you can watch it tonight, and it's what's on tap. The Dodgers have never won a Game 7 at home in the World Series. They're 0-2 all time. And they haven't had one or the opportunity to win a home game in a Game 7 since 1965.
Wow.
Yeah. It's It's the first ever World Series Game 7 at Dodger Stadium. It's the third oldest active stadium in Major League Baseball, by the way. And this is the 9th World Series at the venue.
I saw that note last night, and again, to me, this just sets up to be the antithesis of last night's 3-1 result, because not only it's McCullers versus Darvish, but those bullpens are stretched, man. I mean, Los Angeles spent, 4 1/3 last night?
Yep.
I was curious to take Rich Hill out in that moment, given what he is the third time through the order. That's
Bravo to Rich Hill for what he did with the stepping off of the mound and allowing the boos to continue.
Yes.
That was nicely done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a nice little subtle.
Yeah, get you some of that. As an aside, you talk about being spent, Tom, and you're right on that. Second straight series that the Astros will play a Game 7 in. They're the 4th team to play in multiple Game 7s in a single postseason. The 85 Royals did it. I remember them. You weren't born, but I remember that. The 91 Braves did it. They lost. Didn't win at all. The 87 Cardinals did it, lost. The 86 Red Sox did it, lost. And the 85 Royals did it. So we had a spate here, 85, 86, 87, where it happened back-to-back-to-back years. Then it happened again in 91 and didn't happen again until this year.
Yeah, it's fitting that it went this way, but I think if A.J. Hinch has it to do over again, as I said in the outset, if Gaddis is on and you've only got a few outs to play with, you're going to run for him right away instead of waiting until he gets in a freaking scoring position. A couple of really curious moves last night by each manager. Maybe they'll settle down and their nerves will settle down tonight. But also the Utley move, the double switch. I mean, if you're gonna pull your guy one batter in the next half inning, what the hell is the point of just not doing a straight pinch hit?
You know what you learn? I remember David Ross mentioned that he thought one of the worst managers that he ever played for. Well, maybe I'm paraphrasing.
Ooh, wait a minute. You want to go there?
A manager that he thought struggled, Dusty Baker, has had immense success. I go back to something I say frequently, and he mentioned too, by the way, did David, that it's something we all saw just a year ago from a good manager. Joe Madden tried to lose the World Series last year.
Yes, he certainly did.
He tried to lose the World Series last year, and he is a good manager, but he was a mess.
Yeah, with the Chapman stuff.
Oh, he was a mess in the World Series. A mess. It gets to you. I think it's pretty clear that you can have them. It gets to you.
Got to Verlander last night.
Yeah.
You could tell the magnitude of what was about to happen. And I think this was in his head, too. Aaron Boone said this last night in SportsCenter's pregame coverage of the game. They did a quick interview, threw it out to him. And he said, if he wins this game and they close it out and he's dominant, he only secures even more that he's going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
This secures your legacy. It's done. You're ironclad, one of the greats of all time. And to me, it just seemed like as we were getting into the waning moments of his performance last night, you could see the magnitude of the moment all over his face, the stress level as he was chucking baseballs into the dugout. Give me another one. Give me another one.
But he's been really good, and he still wasn't bad.
No, he wasn't bad.
He still wasn't bad. I mean, that has to suck for him. I mean,
But everything's in control, and then you bounce one off of Utley's foot out of nowhere. You got him, I think it was 2 strikes at the time.
You know what's crazy? That's the first loss that the Astros have suffered in a game pitched by Verlander.
Mm-hmm.
Regular season and postseason.
He was 11-0 since August.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and even the hit, that's not... I wouldn't call that a great piece of hitting.
Right.
I would call it more of an bloop to
Sure.
right field, because that's not what he's trying to do with the ball.
Be a fun game tonight. That's what's on tap. Look forward to it very much. This has been good for baseball. I wish more people have been. Now, last night, people could stay up. That game moved briskly, and we weren't finishing at 2 o'clock in the morning, and that's a good thing for baseball. I also, by the way, and I know we got to go, I don't know what the answer to that problem is. I don't think you should force people on the West Coast to start watching World Series games at 3 p.m. while they're at work. So whenever I talk about the complaint that I have when these games go past midnight and no kid can watch this thing play out, and it's the biggest stage for the sport, I don't know what you do. If you started at 7, it's 4 on the West Coast, maybe.
Yeah, but when it's on the East Coast, they start at the same time. So to me, it should just be wherever the game is played, whatever time zone it's played, it should start between 5 and 6. And then everybody else has to set their schedules accordingly.
Just figure it out.
But for the people on the East Coast that are watching their team, the kids can watch the game.
Yeah, but the TV markets, boy, they're not going to do that. They're just
of course not.
They're not going to do it. Yeah, I don't know what you do.
It's short-sighted, though. They want short-term numbers.
Yeah, they do.
Instead of the 20 to 40-year projections of winning fans over.
Front Row Knowles coming up next. Stay tuned for that. Good work, Tom. Good work, Matthew. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Be well. Enjoy the game. tonight. Yeah. Game 7. I think you know what I'm segueing towards there, T. Lizzie. Make it happen, baby.
Ready for a cold one?
Yep.
Proof Brewing Company in Railroad Square Art Park presents What's on Tap. So, Jeff, what'll it be?
World Series Game 7. Our thanks to Proof Brewing Company since 2007, offering Tallahassee's finest craft beer selections at their massive tap room in Railroad Square Art Park and canned deliciousness in stores near you. This will be the 39th World Series winner-take-all game all time. Home team is 19-19.